Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah.
Boy.
Welcome to the ultimate Cleveland sports show. No, that is not Bull. Bull's out.
I am a...
Tyvus is in.
Bull has lost a ton of weight.
Yeah.
He's went tanning.
Do you know?
So let's go!
Do you know what?
Yeah!
Do you know if y'all did a body swap, what Bull would do to your body? He just be doing all kind of stuff.
First of all, you gonna watch your mouth. That's what you gonna do.
You like, I'm in Tyvus's body.
Yeah, you'd have bumped your head.
Fornicate. No, I'm playing. No.
The boy that bumped his head this morning.
Oh, my goodness. Welcome to the program. Busy day. We're going to actually put a bow on week 6, some of the things that we didn't get to talk about that we saw that was brought to our attention from all the action. We'll wrap that. Also, I can't wait for this. Mikey McNuggets went into the trade laboratory, and he has 6 trades that he says we absolutely must consider. Well, he said 5 of them are legit. Yeah. 1 of them is a fairy tale.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, though.
I can't wait.
It's going to be fun.
Because, look, this team is in a position where they've got one of the tenets, one of the tent poles to winning a Super Bowl is a great defense.
Yes.
Check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There are other things that you need to win a Super Bowl, like a wide receiver room. Blank box.
You need to take care of the football. You need to create takeaways.
That's exactly right. So, if we have to miss more time with our quarterback, are we in a position with the backups we have to make a playoff run? These are questions that they're answering inside Berea. McNuggets asked those questions yesterday and decided, I'm going to make this football team better.
I like McNuggets because when you first hear what McNuggets says, when he first puts the trade out, I don't know what it is, but when he first put it out, it's going to sound like it's blasphemy.
But then you think about it.
Then you sit back and think about like it really ain't that bad.
Right.
So
Well,
I'm actually excited for you, McNuggets.
Yeah, I hope that's the case.
And a little teaser on that, Jason's not here today, but yesterday after the show, I brought Jason upstairs
to
our new office, by the way. We have moved offices
I didn't know that.
Jay.
Where'd you move to?
Across the hall to the closet. We are officially...
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
Wait, the show has become a runaway hit, and they take away your corner office with a lake view.
We have no windows in the new office.
And put you in a closet?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
It's crazy.
We're going to pimp it out. Yeah,
because I usually go up to visit. I don't even really want to
There's no other workers up there, though.
They gave Earl and I real desks, though, so like that's a plus.
Oh, wow. So wait, who got your office?
We're not going to air dirty laundry.
You're not going to go there?
No, we're
That's
not gonna
disrespect, though.
Dang, bro.
I'm just saying.
I
mean, the work that this show has done.
Jay, what happens if they move your desk upstairs? I've been to your desk.
Nice desk. Let me tell you something. I'm what they call leaning into the tape.
Yeah.
F around and find out.
But as I was saying earlier,
unacceptable.
We brought Jason upstairs to the new office. He was the first visitor.
Right.
And I ran all these trades by him to make sure, from an outside perspective, because he's not here today.
Yeah.
Is the compensation at least in the ballpark of where it should be? And do these make any sense? And Jason, one of them, he was like, I'm mad at myself for not thinking of that. So that's a little teaser for later in the show.
And he's frugal in the picks.
Now, wait a minute. Did you think of these, or did you scour the internet and see what other people are suggesting?
No, these are straight for one of them came from a discussion we've had, but the other 5 are from the dome.
All right, that's coming up later in the show. You don't want to miss that. You're going to get some valuable information. Also, week 6 PFF grades. We're doing it a little different this time.
Okay.
First of all, Mikey said the numbers are stunning in both directions. Guys you thought played great, Guys you thought stunk it up, maybe not so bad.
Not mild.
He's going to give us 3 grades, and he's going to say which of these is not like the other. Which one doesn't belong in this group? And then it's up to us to pick them out. That's going to be hard. That's a real hard way of doing it. Because first of all, when we look at the PFF grades week to week, we're like, what? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What? And we've had guys on. Who was on recently? Lomas Brown.
Oh, yeah.
He does not like the PFF
Lomas
grades.
took a steaming hot dump all over PFF grades.
And Dan.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. And also Mary Kay Cabot's here. And the reason I'm anxious to talk to her is because there's just been so much information, so much misinformation about the Deshaun Watson injury. Where the heck do things stand now? You know, how far along is he? What's the likelihood that we see him Sunday? And will we see him if he's not 100%? That's where we're going to start our show today. But before we do, our first hello of the day to Mikey McNuggets. Hey, buddy.
What's up, guys? Hey, we talked about it yesterday. We got to mention it again, but we have been without a sports book, for a long time here on UCSS. We are now officially part of the FanDuel network. So if you are a new customer looking to get into the sports gambling world, you better do it with FanDuel and use the link FanDuel.com/UCSS. A first customer bet gets you $200 in free bets, win or lose. So you place a $5 bet on FanDuel, you get $200 in free bets, win or lose. That is guaranteed off a $5 bet. The app is easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and much, much more. If you're feeling good about the Browns, head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL, and official partner of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
I mean, how do you go wrong with that? If I gave you a $5 bill and said, now I want 200. No one's going to make that trade.
No.
Nobody. But you place a $5 bet, you get $200 free dollars?
That is that's like
crazy.
a dream come true, actually.
It is a dream come true.
But you got to
FanDuel, a dream come true.
Now, you got to be strategic how you use that $200.
You can stretch that too. I told you I've got a friend that bets like
$1.
18 parlays, and he throws $1 on them every day, mostly baseball. But this guy's a sports savant, kids. I'm telling you, he is a sports savant. I don't know how the hell he does it.
You hit an 18-leg parlay.
He
might be the greatest.
He's hit 2 10-team parlays.
That's crazy.
2 of them at $1.
Man.
I hit a 10-leg parlay.
Did you really?
I did.
God, the odds of doing that.
$10 flipped to $1,600.
He made $63,000 and 20-something thousand.
Have you ever seen a blackjack dealer do a 10-card parlay? 2, 3, ace, ace,
what are the
6,
odds?
5, 4, 2, 21.
You know what you do when you see that? You go and push
get up
away
and
from
move
the
table.
table. Yeah, you get up from that
You be
table.
like,
Because he's a witch.
Yeah.
He's a witch.
Yo,
I'm
can't mess around with that.
I'm on 20.
And I have seen that.
Yeah, and
I mean,
card,
and you're just
nigga.
sitting there,
What?
your jaw is agape.
Oh, it happened. The same thing happened to me in Canada. I was there for like 15 minutes.
Yeah. And then
he
you
did.
said,
He
no,
went to the 10-card parlay, and it was done.
Yeah, some of those dealers are like vacuum
Oh,
cleaners. They
my
just
gosh.
hook their hose right up to your wallet.
Man,
and
it
you
was-
just-
away
it was-
sometimes you just throw your wallet on the table and say,
It
take
was-
it all, I'm out.
It was 3 or 4 young boys that came up and sat right next to me, right?
See, and that's part of it too,
Right.
because if they don't know what they doing,
Yes,
they
they can mess up
the
your play.
whole
The
thing.
young boys kept sitting down. I said, "Yeah, I'm decreasing these bets. These is $5 bets. These are getting all the way reduced." But he was doing them young boys. You could see the desperation in their face. They would scratch together their little allowance money. They out of here. I'm like, bro, I hope you don't got nobody to go home to report to.
It's rough.
looking bad for you, bro.
Yeah, it's rough. All right, we just briefly touched on it, but Deshaun Watson, it seems like, and I don't want to be the purveyor of this information, but I call it picking up breadcrumbs, because that's what the organization leaves, little trails, and we're supposed to follow them. And right now, it does feel like he's trending towards returning, perhaps against Indy, but certainly against Seattle.
Yeah.
But we were told he was cleared to play, and he wasn't. Or later it came out, who cleared him? No one cleared him. Then the GM said he's going to play in 10 days, and he didn't play. And so there's just been so much stuff. But correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like the wind vane's blowing in the direction of him playing. What percentage does he need to be if you're the general manager, Andrew Barrett, or the head coach, and you're going to help make this decision? Where do the doctors need to tell you he is for you to say, put the pads on, let's go play? Is 70% high enough?
No, 80. I need 85. I need him to be at least 8, because 70%, like, stuff happens over a course of a game. Like, depending on the game plan, like, it still might affect his throwing motion, his throwing ability.
Right.
So I can't really open up my playbook all the way entirely and get the full Deshaun Watson effect if he's only 70%. If
Right.
he still can't make those throws, I'm not putting him out there. Then on top of that,
P.J. Walker better than Deshaun Watson at 84%.
84.
Well, you said you need him to be at 85%.
Well, I'm thinking longevity in this thing.
I am too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. 84%. You know what I say at 84%? It's your call. That's what I tell
Leave it up to him.
It's your
G. Bush,
call.
what about you? Is
No.
70% enough for you to put him out there?
No, 100. I need 100.
You and I are.
Y'all.
we're on the same page. Explain yourself.
So, Tyvus, this is why, this was the obvious call. When you're doing 100, the reason you do 100 is you can protect yourself. Now I know that there's less room for injury if he just throws the ball non-contact. I know for a fact now that he can protect himself. He can run, he can throw, he can make all the passes, and he's comfortable. If I get to 100, now I can say to myself, I can run everything I want to. I'm not I don't have any inhibitions about him throwing the ball downfield. And the biggest reason is I already know that I got a top defense, a Super Bowl defense, and if I could steal a game in Indianapolis with a backup quarterback to get him to 100, I'll do it. I don't even care if you start padding, wins, you get to 4-2, hopefully. I don't like looking ahead. But even if you go into Seattle and he's like 90%, guess what? I've won a couple of games in a row that gives me a nice opportunity to say we're not tripping like that. We got Arizona, warm weather. Is they playing Arizona at home or in Cleveland?
Arizona's not, I think, at Arizona.
Yeah,
okay, nice and warm. It's a nice climate. You don't have to worry about the weather or whatever. He could get warmed up. That thing won't tighten up on him again. And then I would shoot for them. That's just 100%. Because you now have a defense that can keep you afloat, even if you don't play your best game.
You know what I love about, so I'm going to call it the new G. Bush is homeowner G. Bush, okay? He's more mature and conservative.
Yes.
Because now he understands that's real money when you leave the lights on and leave a room. That is the mature adult in the room decision to make. Sorry, Tyvus. But here's why. For all the reasons that you said, we've been told from a number of surgeons and doctors that live in this world that it is a real scenario that he has a greater chance of tearing completely that rotator cuff if it's not 100% healed. So if there is a bruise there, and there was some minor tearing in there, and that's what led to the fluid loss and the bruising. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's like a rubber band. Once you cut it and continue to stretch it, you have a high likelihood of tearing it. If it's fully intact and grown back together, it's as strong as it was before the injury. Mm-hmm. The Browns were at this same apex in 2021. They had an injured Baker Mayfield, and they were told he needs surgery. But he took a game off. He came back against Arizona, oddly enough. He took a hit in the same shoulder, and now it's wrecked. And really, in that moment, their season evaporated.
Yeah.
And this was coming off a year in which they won 11 games and won a playoff game and barely lost to Kansas City at the Chiefs. They were close. It's not like they were light years away. Make the conservative decision here. You've proven that with a backup quarterback and an elite defense, you can beat a 5-0, which is easily in the top 2 teams in the NFL, maybe the best. This isn't that big of an ask. Yes, it's on the road. And yes, this Colts team with Gardner Minshew beat the Ravens in Baltimore. Anything is possible. But I think we all agree on this panel would agree that the degree of difficulty of going to Indy and getting a win with P.J. Walker is a molehill compared to the mountain that was beating the San Francisco 49ers with him. Get your franchise quarterback well. And to the 85% thing, the degree of difficulty in the NFL, and we see it on so many throws every week, it's an inch here or there. It's putting a ball in a window with converging defenders from 2 different sides, and you gotta gun that ball in there. And if your arm isn't completely up to full strength, that's where Baker went wrong. Baker thought it's not my throwing shoulder, I can still make throws. Tony Romo was saying, no, he can't. You don't even understand how much velocity you lose and accuracy you lose because all your mechanics change when you have even a left shoulder injury. This is his throwing shoulder. I need him well. We're going to go as far as this guy takes us, not P.J. Walker. Put it on the defense again. go to Indy, come back 4-2.
Yep.
McNuggets, you have thoughts on this? Would you dare put him out there if he's less than 100?
I mean, if he's like 90, 95%, I think I would roll the dice. But to be completely honest, if they can beat San Francisco with P.J. Walker at quarterback, I know it's an any given Sunday, any team can win in any situation.
Yeah.
But with this defense playing at the level it currently is, I don't think the risk in the immediate future or the reward in the immediate future of one win is worth risking what could be a 10-game stretch towards the end. Plus, I think P.J. Walker, despite the numbers not looking great, he did what he was asked to do for the majority of the game against San Francisco.
Yeah.
And that's all you can really ask for a guy who's being elevated from the third string, from the practice squad, against a defense like that. So I would go with Walker.
I just don't want to. The worst. See, I don't want to go into these other weeks and think just because they did it against San Francisco that's just going to be what it is. Like, I think that a lot of emotions went into this game. A lot of doubt from outside peers went into that locker room, and they heard it, and they went and they came together and said, we want to prove the world wrong on this, and
they did.
They did, and that's
a fair point.
The thing is, like, the Colts, like, you're favored again. Now you're supposed to go out there and you're supposed to beat them. And I don't want them to take their foot off the gas. Like, when you have a dominant performance like that and you do the unexpected, like, to come back the next week, like, now everybody's like, this is what you need to be. Like, we expecting it to be this. And sometimes people relax a little bit because it's like, we just beat the best.
Have you seen that in NFL locker rooms? Perhaps San Francisco was guilty of that Sunday.
Yeah, it happens
all the time. They came off the win and the high of beating
yeah.
Dallas.
It happens all the time.
It's a trap game.
So that's why I'm like, I'd rather have Deshaun in there because I know at least that spark is still there. Because it's like my number 4 back in the locker room. Let's go.
You also know this. If you're Barry and Stefanski, you know you're treading water and swimming for your life here.
Oh, absolutely.
You also understand that if you do bring him back a week early, you know where Indy's going to go.
Right.
I mean, he's got a target on that right shoulder.
Yeah.
If they take him out and it's a complete tear and the doctor comes to the podium Monday morning and says, guys, we're going to do surgery on Deshaun tomorrow morning, his season is over. How does that make Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski look, knowing that what we know, that there is a higher likelihood of him completely tearing that rotator cuff if he takes another hit there?
They're gonna come after that. That's
Not just now, for the rest of the season.
That's right.
Everybody's coming after that.
But Ty, it's like I do understand what you're saying. Like, people kind of take their foot off the gas, but I haven't seen that with the Jim Schwartz defense. I haven't seen them rest on their laurels this year.
The Ravens game wasn't.
No. That wasn't resting on their laurels. Baltimore came out and did their thing. Baltimore came out and had some wrinkles for them. Lamar Jackson was putting the ball on the money. They came out and played well. It wasn't like.
What was weird though is that they get 6 field goals against Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like Baltimore's been this offensive juggernaut. They looked the best they've looked all year against this defense.
Yeah.
Granted, real quick, it was 2 short fields. Like, 2
I
of
get
those
that.
touchdowns were very short
No,
fields.
I get that.
Right.
Well, one was a really short field.
First play after an interception, 10-yard line.
I hear what you're saying because I'm with you. Like, I just don't, with Jim Schwartz, I don't think that, because what's happening is right now the world is going, that defense is unbelievable. You guys are the
they're
best.
getting flowers
You're the
nationally.
best since the 80s Bears. And you know Jim Schwartz is coming in like, you're the best, huh? Look at this. You're not in your gap on this play right here.
Yeah.
You don't. Everybody out here telling you guys you so good, but look, you missed this right here. Ain't you supposed to be right here? You missed this tackle. Like, so he's making sure that they stay hungry and they don't get complacent.
You never played under Jim Schwartz, correct?
No, but I just know the type of person.
I'm wondering if I'm sure you have friends in the league that have.
Yeah, Malcolm did.
Okay, have you had conversations with him about things like that? Like how he keeps his team from looking past a trap game?
Yeah, they say that he's very honest and he does exactly what I just said he does. He's
going to point out
your flaws all the time. So you always,
I like that.
In your mind, you're never thinking, man, I'm really great. Like you won't think that because it's like I got to get better at this. I missed this. I messed that up. So it's like in your mind, it's always working. Like I still got to get better.
Well,
and it keeps you hungry.
I like that. And we also heard Stefanski, I think it was on yesterday, say, trust me when I tell you, we're not concerned about stats. Jim's not looking at stats. I'm not looking at – we don't care about stats
they should
and where we fit in the pantheon of the all-time great defenses. We have 17 one-game seasons.
Yes.
And last season is over, San Francisco, and now we got another season to get ready for against the Colts. And then when that's over, you'll put that one to bed and you'll start thinking about Seattle. And I do think that that's the best way to look at a season.
Absolutely.
Game to game.
He was even talking about after the game, like he seen it in their eyes. He just knew that they was going to have a good week because coming into that week, it was San Francisco, and he said that defense was so hyped in practice. It brought so much energy to practice because they knew the task. They knew, like, any chance we got to win in this game is going to be through us. Like, we got a third-string quarterback. Unless he's Willie Beeman, we going to struggle in this game. So they had to be on it, and they were locked in, and they were ready to go.
I like one of the things he said in his post-game comment was, it's whatever it sounds like to be ready in practice, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
You know, in other words, the hitting, the chirping, the guys, they were saying all the right things. He's just like, you could just tell from the sounds at practice this week that they were ready.
And, you know, I'm looking at it like this. They still ain't even played their A game. That's the part that why I don't think they'll fall off. To me,
you don't think they've played as good as they can defensively?
Nope. Because, look, Zadarius Smith, he don't even have a sack this year.
Right.
Greg Newsome, no picks yet.
He dropped it.
Martin Emerson just got a –
if they can play better –
I mean, it's always room for improvement. We're about to find out PFF-wise.
Well, they haven't pitched a shutout yet.
They ain't pitched a shutout. True. Like, they haven't scored on defense yet. There's a lot of things that they could be doing. So, to me, you know, one thing that travels week to week is if you got it, effort. If you got effort week to week, you may not always be able to execute, but effort cleans up a lot of different things. And I have not seen the Browns have a problem with effort and Jim Schwartz getting it out of.
I seen one bad effort play in San Francisco. That at the end of the game when Brandon Ayuk caught that ball.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what Taki was doing. Like, I don't know what Martin was doing. They just kind of took that play off, and I was just looking at them like.
It kind of was like one of them things where they told them don't let them get out of bounds, and then
but it's better ways to do that.
They could have just let them cut back against the grain. I'm like, dang, tackle the man.
Yeah.
So but I'll say this.
It stuck out like a sore thumb. I'm sorry,
but the Colts.
It would have been a huge deal if that kick was good.
Oh yeah,
they would have been getting chewed out forever off of that. Because that one play, he got like 30 yards off that play.
Yeah,
it was the one play you couldn't give up, really, and they did. So look, if there's room if they can get better, and they start turning the ball over, and throw a shutout here or there, that would be nice.
Yep, I like that.
My goodness.
They get a shutout. I mean, it's the week to do it. It's the week to do it. I'll tell you that.
G, you mentioned Zadarius Smith. I'm not sure there's a player in football who's been better this season without the traditional stats backing up what he's done on the field.
Oh, yeah.
He's top 10 in almost every pass rushing analytic in terms of pass rush win rate, fastest time to pressure, getting off blocks in the run game. Like, anything that doesn't actually show up in the box score, he's excelling at, and then you look at his season stats, and it's like 8 tackles, no sacks. He's done nothing. Well, that just, if you think that means you're not watching the game.
It's almost like offensive line, though. Offensive line, there's no, the only stat is, quarterback sacks allowed, pressure rate, holding penalties. Typically, if you're noticing them on the offensive line, it's not good.
Bad things happening.
But he is disruptive. He was in the backfield a number of times at the same time the ball was getting there.
Yeah, like he's crazy. It's like and that's what Jim Schwartz said. He said, when we don't look at the stats about it, man. The stats can be the crazy when you look at it and say, well, he doesn't have any interception, he doesn't have any sacks, he only had one quarterback hit. That's not what it's about. There's lots of times where you can have a great pass rush, you can win, you can be about to get home, quarterback steps up, and somebody else gets a sack.
Not even that. It's him in the run game. He puts
where he's been dominant.
He puts a stop sign to whatever side he on. If you're a running back and you're supposed to go right, that tackle, you cannot get outside of Zadarius.
And that's what we need.
And that's like the best part.
That
you got 10 other dudes inside out
that could allow, because you don't know necessarily, when the ball is snapped, run or pass.
Right.
But if you know you've got a run stuffer in the middle and you're Miles and you want to get home, you don't have to worry about run contain. You're going. You're coming for the quarterback and let someone else handle the run. And Smith has done that.
You know, and the great thing about it is leading. See, defense. This is the age-old thing. Would you rather have an all-time great offense or an all-time great defense?
I'm biased.
For me, when you have an all-time great defense,
I'm biased.
It's tough to get anything off. Like, I've seen all-time great defenses put Randy Moss and Tom Brady on ice. Like, I can't believe they went through the whole year, did not lose, and that pass rush with the Giants, with Tuck and your boy Osi and Strahan was ridiculous. They couldn't get the ball off.
Didn't Strahan break the record for sacks?
Yeah, I don't know if it was that year. That year, it might have been a year.
But that's always
it was not
subject.
that season.
I mean, that was because Brett Favre decided to fall down.
Right.
Give him the last sack.
Was that the last game of the year?
Don't do that.
The Brett Favre sack, yeah, it was.
I mean, anybody
TJ Watt,
said that
TJ
was a
Watt
gift.
almost break that like 2 years ago?
I think
he tied it.
Oh, he tied
Oh,
it.
wow. I thought
Let me double check. But I'm pretty
Last
sure.
year.
That was last year? No, that was 2 years ago.
I think it was last year.
I don't know. McNuggets is going to tell us.
He been hurt. He been in and out of the lineup.
I thought he.
Yeah, he tied in 2021.
Okay.
So he might be the real sack leader.
But it was
For a
also
single
17
Stop
games
doing that.
versus 16.
Tyvus,
It counts.
of course it
He
counts.
touched him down. It's a
But even when they ask Brett Favre about it to this day, he can't talk about it without laughing.
That's crazy. He
I
did.
mean,
That's nuts.
here you go. Here's your gift.
Hey,
If
what a guy. What a guy.
No, that's Brett Favre, dude.
What a
He's that
guy.
kind of dude.
you know,
You want it? Take it.
I look at it, and now it opens up a lot of doors now. Like, I agree with you. It's kind of scary to kind of project where the Browns could go, but their performance opens up your mind a little bit, and it gives you the freedom to say, okay, what if? Like, okay, this is something new. Let's figure out where we can go with this. And my thing is, if they can get P.J. Walker to stop throwing interceptions. And last night I watched the All 22.
What's your takeaway?
All 22 last night.
Did you see that Coop play I sent to the chat where he was wide? He
dropped
the receiver off the line.
He dropped it.
And one mixtape.
How did he miss that?
I don't know.
I mean, he's your best receiver running completely alone in the middle of the field.
It was crazy. Oh, my goodness. He hit him with a two-step so bad. It was so bad. He was so open. There's a lot of times in the run game, I know people keep saying, well, the run game's not working. Well, the run game's not working.
It was effective.
It shows you what you'll do. If you run for 160 yards, they could have ran for more. But it's a play here or a play here. When they're running inside zone, they're doing a bad job of climbing to the next level. There's plays where there's two guys on one guy instead of one guy understanding that his lineman's going to come get this one and he can climb to the next level.
Well, I think that's been – I mean, that was going to happen this game because you got a new guard in there and you still got DeJuan on the right. So, and for some reason they say DeJuan's not really good in the run, so Wyatt Teller is stuck and can't move to the next level. Then on the other side, you got a young guard with Michael Dunn and Jed Wills. He just want to make sure he got his guy before he even try to leave, period.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot.
101
We got to make sure he take care of this.
First.
And one thing that is evident before we go to you, Mikey, I don't want to see Elijah Moore no reverses. There's lanes there. He's
missing them.
He needs to put his foot in the ground and get vertical.
Well, it was evident because Marquise got in there.
And he did it.
Right. all his plays, they need to transfer them right to him. Cash app him all his plays.
Venmo me that playbook. All right, Mike.
Yeah, this weekend when I was at the tailgate, I got a bunch of questions about the pants I was wearing because they were so stylish, comfortable, and athletic. And I had to tell everybody, if you want a pair of sweatpants just like these, you got to go check them out at birddogs.com. They are, as I said, the most comfortable sweatpants I've ever had. You can work out in them, or you go out in public and still look cool, calm, and collected. Check them out at birddogs.com.
Now, Mikey, before you do that, I got to say something. Mikey just did something, and I like to talk about things that are that are outlawed now, even though you think they're harmless.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
You can
complimenting another man's pants.
Actually, worse than that is complimenting a woman's pants.
Oh, well, yeah, that's taboo. No, you definitely can't do that.
There is
No, the compliment game has gone away.
You cannot. Hey man, I like your pants. What? What?
Either way, just keep the pant compliments to yourself.
Anything below the waist is out of here. You know what I'm saying? So, Mikey, you're a good man because that was cancelable offenses. If they was talking about your pants, that's not cool, Mikey.
Cancelable.
But you know what? He said, well, thank you. These are bird dogs.
These is bird dogs. Yeah,
I
man.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it, man.
Now,
And that good looking. Check them out. Birddogs.com.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Now, do they make pulls, too?
They have all athletic wear. They also have really cool hats.
I'm in
birddogs.com.
Do they make athletic quarter zips?
I bet they do.
The older I get, the more I'm in the quarter zips. I can tell 30 is approaching.
Yeah. You know what Tyvus is like? The Geico commercials about you becoming more and more like your parents. Have you seen the one on the internet training?
Oh my God!
Just because it's a vegetable doesn't mean you're talking about a vegetable. And then one guy goes, "Hey, how do you slide into someo's DMs? That sounds fun."
No.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Don't do that.
Oh, becoming your parents! What a great ad campaign. Great.
So guys,
is it progressive? I can't even.
I think it is progressive.
It is
yeah,
progressive.
it's progressive.
and those commercials are pretty funny.
Great. Absolutely great. All right, what do you got, Mike? You want to pivot now and talk about was Sunday the best win?
Yeah, I do.
Because I think it's prisoner of the moment, but I'll let you guys answer first.
Regular season, by the way.
I know.
Regular
I get that. I get that.
No, I'm gonna tell you a better win. I'll give you two better wins.
Don't say Thursday night against the Jets. Baker Mayfield.
That's top 5.
It was definitely electric. I ain't gonna lie.
I was there. You were there that night too.
I wasn't there that night.
I was there that
I was
night.
in San Francisco, but I was watching it on TV.
I left drunk on victory.
Woo!
I didn't have the victory Bud Light, but I left drunk on victory.
That was a big win.
The Browns beat, I want to say, 2003. They beat prime Michael Vick, and Jim Donovan gives the run William run.
Oh yeah.
To make the playoffs. They had to win that game. And they won that game. The Browns ended up going to the playoffs, playing the Steelers, and they had that game won, except for the Steelers just basically ran back a kick, and Kelly Holcomb threw for like 400 yards. They ended up losing.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I was young, but I remember watching that.
Yeah,
that was a big victory.
That was William Green was the running back?
And Jim's call was all time great.
Yeah, one. That's a bigger one. Yeah.
See, that's too far back. God, I ain't looked that
Well,
far.
we're going back to 99. What year were you born?
94.
You child.
Man. Regular season, you say?
Yeah,
now really for your purposes, I mean, you don't remember anything before you were 10. You can't.
When was you born?
94.
So we're talking 04.
I got 5 years of. Dang. Yeah.
That's tough.
That's a long way away. My top 2 is the Thursday night against the Jets and this one. Would this one be better than that? I mean, from an atmosphere standpoint, the Jets was way better. Way better.
That was the best win I've experienced inside the new stadium.
But this one it's because of what he had, like the circumstances of this game.
Yeah,
like,
and the fact that we expected it to be a loss.
Exactly. So yeah.
So Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me. It's really hard to say one is better than the other. From the Thursday night win stands out because you have to remember we broke a how long losing streak?
Yeah, 30?
I mean, it was
32, 33,
32,
33, something like that.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
okay,
well,
it was absolutely
it was
ridiculous.
bad.
And when we walked out, I remember I've never seen a crowd collectively that euphoric. Not even leaving playoff games. But I just remember the thought was, we got it. We finally got it. Mm-hmm. Because in that moment, there were no Baker detractors.
No.
None.
Mm-mm.
Everybody was like, wow, as advertised. Shows up, winning streak's over. First time he touches the field. So that was really, really, really big.
Yeah, it was.
For me, and this is totally personal, and nobody else would say, oh, yeah, that game. But I've told this story on the air before. It's appropriate today because today, October 17th, is the 15th anniversary of my father's death. And the last game he ever watched in any sport was the Browns-Giants primetime game in 2008.
Braylon Edwards had a long touchdown.
The Giants were undefeated.
Yep.
They were the defending Super Bowl champions. Yep. And the Browns won, but it wasn't just that they won. I remember telling my mom that morning, I really don't want to do this because the last time my dad sees the Browns, it's going to be a thumping. Because hospice had told my dad and the family earlier that week, 72 hours. He'd been a long fight with cancer. But I told my mom, God, I wish it wasn't the Giants. Like, he's going to have to go out on that. That stinks. And right hand to God, you can look up the box score. It was October 13th, 14th, a few days before he died.
October 14th.
You have the box score. It was 35-4. I remember the details of every play of that game. It was 35-14.
Correct.
The Browns didn't punt.
Correct.
They didn't fumble.
Correct.
And they didn't throw an interception.
Correct.
Every drive they had ended in a touchdown except for the drive before halftime, which they ran out of clock. The Giants scored 14 points, and the Browns looked on that day like they were an absolute world-beating team.
Who was the coach at the time?
08.
Romeo? Was it Romeo?
I don't know.
Was this the 10 and 6 season?
Mangini?
No. This is after
08. It was October. Was
that the 10 and 6 season?
10 and 7 was 2007.
They didn't have a great team that year, the Browns.
No, they were supposed to be coming back and having a great year.
But they did not.
Was this Derek Anderson, Braylon Edwards, Kellen Winslow?
and during that first part of that year, Braylon Edwards had like 19 touchdowns or something stupid in 20. It was in 07 he had them touchdowns, but he had some drops though. So starting off that year, he had dropped like 3 or 4 bombs, just wide in his hands, wide open. Well, Braylon Edwards comes back, he catches the football in this game, and I believe was Ruben Drones on that team?
Might have been.
Ruben Drones, man.
The other thing that I remember about it was my hospice had said double his medication because he was on morphine. And once you get towards the end, they said we want him to be euphoric. He might be a little delusional. He'll lose some of his deductive reasoning, but he'll feel great. He'll be in a good mood. He won't be somber and solemn knowing that the end is near. My dad was actually making jokes about, it's time to go. And it was just a wild transformation once we doubled his medication. When the game was over, it was time to go to bed. I was out in Phoenix with them for 4 or 5 weeks before he passed. My dad said, and he thought this was true when he died. And again, because the morphine had kind of altered his reality, even though he was in the moment in the games, knowing every play and knowing everything that was going on, big picture, he was a little delusional. And with all the seriousness in the world when the game was over, he said, wow, Jay, all of the sporting events we've experienced together as father and son, everything that we've been through, never getting to see a championship, how fitting that as I'm ready to leave the stage, the Browns win the Super Bowl. And I said, yeah, isn't that something? And he goes, now wait a minute. The Giants are undefeated, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, right. Yes, they are. And the Giants won the Super Bowl last year, right?
Yeah.
And I said, they did. And he goes, well, then that's it. That means that we won the Super Bowl. All these years we've been waiting for this. And as I'm getting ready to leave, they gave us the Super Bowl. And my dad died thinking the Browns won the Super Bowl.
You're like, he's like, yo, I'm taking it. I'm taking this one.
I'm
it
like,
counts for me.
It's for me. It was the Super Bowl.
Right.
So I know there have been more meaningful wins since they've been back in '99, mm-hmm. wins that made you feel better. But for me, that October night, 2 or 3 days before my dad passed, was it for me.
Yeah.
Because my love of sports came from him.
Yeah.
And we thought we were going to break the championship drought and finally get to see one together in 07 when the Indians made it to the ALCS and they had a 3-1 lead on the Red Sox. And
look at you. I know.
Or 3-2 lead. I flew out to Arizona and they lost Game 6 and they lost Game 7. And they didn't go to the World Series.
When they was up through, wasn't it Dennis Bird? Who was pitching?
I don't know because I actually had to watch that game on delay with my dad. When I flew, I said, I'm turning off my phone. I had the car scheduled to pick me up at the airport and take me to my dad's house, my mom and dad's house in Phoenix. And my dad had said, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not answering the house phone. No one's answering the cell phone. We'll watch it together.
I like that.
I'm getting up to get off the plane, and a guy recognizes me from Cold Pizza and says, Jay, I'm sorry about your Indians. And I almost had a heart attack. I'm like, what? Oh, you didn't hear that they lost? I had to go to Phoenix, go to my dad's house, and sit there and watch a game with my dad that I already knew they got pounded.
That hurts.
And what was interesting to me was because I knew the outcome and he didn't, it was fascinating for me. And again, he was fighting cancer the whole last several years of his life. He knew that would probably be our last chance to do it. They fall down big early. Red Sox keep piling on runs. And here's my dad, body all riddled with cancer, saying, hey, this isn't over. Come on. I mean, we get a couple here, we get a couple there. And I already knew the outcome.
And when you know them couple ain't coming, that's devastating.
I knew.
When you knew the rally was not to be had.
No, it was horrible. So for my dad to think right before he died that we won the Super Bowl because we beat the undefeated defending Super Bowl champs, I don't know that there will be a more meaningful Browns game for me ever.
And you know what? If it wasn't for that, I knew Jay was going. I thought he was going to go to the Baker Mayfield comeback in Cincinnati for.
That was a big win.
That was huge.
Like, you got to think about it.
Odell that went out.
The personal touch for me.
Yeah, that obviously was in there. You had to have that number one. For that game.
I remember the game you're talking about, though.
Odell jumped on his back and got hurt.
It looked like
Odell tore his ACL, and then Baker just riddled off like. What was it? 28 straight
one
points?
after another after another.
And then he hit DPJ
on that back
shoulder. Back shoulder to DPJ.
And then it was crazy because the narrative was
Hollywood Higgins was like
unstoppable.
A real receiver when he was with Baker.
Is he still in the league?
I don't think so.
Why did they play that kid?
He went to Carolina a couple years ago.
He had the sweetest end zone dance or celebration.
He did. He had He would be playing, and he would be people. You say he's not a good practice player, but he was. If Baker was playing, he's open every play.
It was amazing.
He's just open.
It's just crazy how you'd have a rapport with a guy like that, and then you got OBJ, and there was just nothing there.
He got hurt jumping on somebody's back.
Right.
And I'm looking at you think
only
about
in
it.
Brown's lore can that happen.
I mean,
I couldn't believe it because it was like he threw the pick, he tried to chase it down, he jumps on somebody's back,
and tears his ACL.
And his ACL is torn. I'm like,
how does that work? But that game was the catalyst for them running off them games.
It was. It absolutely was.
They make the playoffs.
They got hot.
Yep.
The rest is history. All right, McNuggets, you want to do a read and move on?
I got to read, and then it is time to do a little PFF versus the eye test, which has become one of my favorite things because sometimes I do think we are smarter than the analytic people who get paid to analyze stuff by PFF. But before we do that, I want to remind the good people out there that on Fridays from 12:30 to 1, we move over from YouTube to WKYC TV Channel 3 with 30 minutes of brand new, never-before-seen content previewing the upcoming game for that Sunday. This week, it'll be 30 minutes on the Colts and the Cleveland Browns as we get ready to hopefully see our team move to 4-2 on the season. So if you can't check it out, we do post it later, but in a perfect world, you guys all watch on Channel 3. If you can't watch on TV because you don't live in Cleveland, you can download the WKYC app on your phone or the WKYC Plus app on your smart TV to watch us live from 12:30 to 1 on WKYC.
Very good.
And with that, it's time to do a little eye test versus the PFF grades. And we've done it different every time this week. I'm running out of ideas, so we may just pick one that we like the best moving forward. But I'm going to give you 3 guys today in a certain category. So category 3 options. You tell me who doesn't belong. And then we'll discuss whether or not the PFF graders, evaluators, simulations, however they come up with these grades, match what we saw with our own 2 eyes.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Very good.
The first category we are going with are the highest graded offensive players on the Browns in this game. The highest graded players. I'm going to give you 3 names. One of these 3 is not one of the 3 highest offensive players. And before I give you the names, these are people that really played. You had to play at least 25 snaps to be qualified for these. So no one's going to be a weird outlier. He graded a 90 because he played 2 snaps. These are all guys who legitimately contributed. So 3 names, 2 were in the top 3, 1 was not. The 3 names: David Njoku, Amari Cooper, and DeJuan Jones. Who's the oddball out here who was not a top 3 graded player by PFF?
Well, this is
Sunday?
a sucker question. You want us to say DeJuan Jones because we all thought Njoku played pretty well.
But did he do anything?
No.
David Njoku.
Yeah, let's go with Njoku.
I think it's DeJuan Jones.
You do.
So we have 2 for Njoku, 1 for DeJuan, and we have 0 correct answers. Believe it or not, David Njoku was the highest graded offensive player on Sunday, according to PFF. DeJuan Jones,
okay,
the
so
second highest
this
graded
officially
player.
puts to PFF is dead to me. They're dead to me.
I thought Amari Cooper played a
Dead.
very good game.
PFF dead. R.I.P. P.I. Look. See, that's what I'm saying. They're trying to tell us that our eyes are lying to us. Wrong. I saw this man break 2 ankles on Sunday.
Yeah, wide open.
2 ankles.
Crazy.
Like, that's just dumb.
And do you know what the crazy part about Cooper's grade is? In run blocking, which is part of their overall grade, he graded out at a 76.4. His pass catching grade, which is what we all thought he excelled at, a 68.7.
The man.
Did he drop anything?
The man.
I don't think so.
Look at the catch at the sidelines.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
See, this is it, guys. For me, I'm done. I don't bring up PFF grades to me ever again anymore. They're done. They're dead to me.
He
bookmark that page. Keep it in the system forever. And the next time that Bull starts going, PFF! Let me see that.
Yeah,
No.
I agree. I told you some of these are way off.
This is the one that for me, I'm done.
So
I'm done.
I need to understand. I need to understand it. Where's Sam at? I need to understand how your pass catching grade could be a 60.
He didn't drop any balls, and he caught a ball that maybe 5 guys in the league catch.
Jay, was the most improbable completion of the season, according to ESPN's Next Gen Stats.
There you go. And we're going to give him a D. Sorry, PFF.
That's crazy, bro.
Dead to me.
What do you got to do to get an 80?
Oh, man.
Come on, man.
All right, next up, we're going to go to the lowest graded offensive players category. These were the lowest graded. 2 of these 3.
It ain't Jed Wheels.
2 of these 3 were the lowest graded players on the Browns, and one of them was not. Let's see the list.
I ain't going.
Who doesn't belong on the lowest offensive graded players? P.J. Walker, DPJ, or Elijah Moore?
Okay, so if DPJ has to be on there.
No, he had one target.
No catches.
Yeah, one
He
target.
did have a really nice block on the touchdown run.
That ain't enough to give him.
I'm telling you, with PFF, he might be 100.
That's ridiculous.
But think about
if it ain't DPJ, they're dead to me. That's a fact.
Hold on.
If it ain't DPJ.
Hold on, but you got to think about it. P.J. Walker had a game-winning drive with no completions.
Yeah, well, he gets no points for that. They got 2 real
and
big,
2
timely
crazy
penalties.
picks.
So you saying P.J. Walker is the lowest?
It's got to be.
G, I'm telling you, 2 of these 3 are the 2 lowest. Who isn't the lowest?
My eyes tell me
P.J. Walker ain't the lowest.
Elijah Moore is the lowest. Because DPJ had 1 target and 0 catches, so he clearly wasn't getting separation. He did have the nice block on the Kareem Hunt touchdown. I got to give him points for that. But Elijah Moore,
It's P.J.
I'm going to go with P.J. Walker.
I'm going
He's not,
P.J.
he
Walker.
shouldn't be in this list.
So you say P.J. Walker should not be in the bottom 3.
you got,
G.
Jay?
I'm going with Elijah Moore.
You're going Elijah Moore should not be in the bottom 3.
Yeah.
Tyvis, who are you saying should not be in the bottom 3?
Go with DPJ so one of us gets it right.
Okay, I go with DPJ for time's sake.
So
for question's sake.
Jay, who just quit on PFF, has gotten this one right. Let's see the grades. P.J. Walker was the lowest graded Brown on either side of the ball with a 26.4 grade. DPJ, a 51.7. Elijah Moore, a 57.6. That was their 5th lowest grade.
I mean, that was easy just because Walker was not great. He threw the 2 picks. He didn't throw a touchdown. The winning drive he gets no points for because they had 2 major touchdown penalties. And DPJ had the block.
So he gets 50?
He gets something.
I'm going to tell you what.
What did Elijah Moore do?
They're dead to me. Don't even talk to me about PFF either. Because
I'm gonna let you know.
That's abysmal.
Hey, Walker played not at the euphoria. You know, we done had a lot of surgeries, Jay. You done had some surgeries too. You know, when that Novocaine or when that anesthesia wear off.
Yeah, and it gets real.
And that next night you wake up and you know they you know, we on the opioid strike. You know, they be rationing them opioid. You get three oxys. They send you home with them.
Then you get them?
Then you gonna start chewing on them Tylenols. That's all you gonna get it down.
Exactly what it is.
I don't know if you ever had
That's
this,
a
but on
fact.
my last ACL replacement,
Right.
they did this on the first two also, but they send you home with a morphine ball. So it's a little plastic ball.
When was this?
This was 2012, maybe 13.
You tore your ACL.
They had so the morphine ball it's a plastic ball that's filled with morphine, and it's got an IV that comes out of it, and it goes into your hand right here. And
Who puts the IV in?
the doctor does before they send you home.
Okay.
So after surgery, you know, I want to get home as soon as possible. I want to be in the comfort of my house.
Mm-hmm.
So the last thing my surgeon says to me is, Jay, I know you're a fidget. Don't pull that out, because this is the only thing that's keeping you from feeling extreme pain right now. And this will last 24 hours. It's a slow drip IV. Whatever you do, don't pull it out. I get out of the car. My wife's helping me. My son's helping me. I'm all crutched up. I get into my spot. I'm sitting down in my chair. Within 5 minutes, I pull out the IV.
What is the matter with you?
I don't know. I'm a child.
They didn't have that tape down?
It was taped, and there was a piece of tape on it, and I made a sudden movement, turned something, and I'm like, oh no. And I see drips coming out of the needle. And I'm like, Trace, I just pulled out my. She goes, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You're kidding. Because that was would be something I would kid about. I said, no. So I was pain-free, drug-free. 4 hours after surgery, I sat in a post-op for a couple hours.
I would have been right to the local
And so
ER.
that feeling that you're talking about, I'm like, I was sweating, worried about it.
because it hits you with that moment of clarity, and you be like,
yeah, you know, because at first you don't feel anything. You don't even know you have a leg, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, babe, there's something deep in the recesses of my knee that feels like it just exploded.
That's a fact.
Hey, it's no fun, man.
that's
It
a
is
fact.
no.
By the way, the analogy to finish it off, PJ Walker, after surgery, after 24 hours, I looked at your performance. The Browns need another quarterback.
We will get into that more later. Next up, offensive linemen who graded in the 60s. So one of these three did not grade in the 60s.
Jed
Who is
Wills.
it? Wyatt Teller, Michael Dunn, Jed Wills, who did not grade
Jed
in the 60s.
Wills, I ain't moving the answer.
Jed Wills, you said the other two is in the 60s, and this person is higher or lower?
Lower.
One's lower than in the 60s. The other two are in the 60s. Who did not
Okay,
grade
so
in the
one's
60s?
in the 40s, 50s, 30s maybe?
I'll tell you, one's in the 50s, two are in the 60s. Who's in the 50s?
Okay, so it's going to be close.
Michael Dunn.
Michael Dunn, he got dropped.
No, you know what? I think Michael Dunn did okay, man.
He got dropped.
I do.
So you go Wyatt Teller?
And I think Jed Wills did okay. I'm going to go Wyatt Teller.
No, hold on.
I'm going to be honest. I did not notice Jed this game. So I got to go
either.
Wyatt Teller.
I'm going Wyatt Teller. I changed my mind.
There was a couple times I did look at Wyatt Teller, though.
Yeah, Wyatt Teller did not get a couple blocks, and he was holding being lazy on that
I did
touchdown.
not notice.
Let's go
Jed.
Wyatt
This is
Teller.
the
Wyatt
first
Teller.
game that I didn't yell at outside of the penalty he had.
Wyatt Teller.
Before I tell you the grade, let me tell you Jed Wills had his highest graded PFF grade since week 8 of last season.
God bless
His
him.
highest rated game since
Shout
week
out
8
to
of last
Eddie.
season.
Still in the 50s.
Let's see who did not reach the 60s. The answer. The answer, Steve, is Michael Dunn. Jed Wills, Wyatt Teller, both at 69s.
Talk me
Michael
out
Dunn,
of
a
it.
58.4. So,
Jay, talk me out of
Yeah,
it,
I'm
man.
sorry. I'm sorry. Don't listen to me.
we're going to move to the defensive side of the ball here. We got 3 defensive categories. We're going to start with the overall highest graded
Myles
defensive
Garrett.
players for the Browns. 2 of these guys
Myles Garrett.
are 1 and 2. One of them is not in the top 3. Who's not in the top 3? How about J.O.K., Dalvin Tomlinson, and Myles Garrett?
Who's
not in
not?
the top 3? Who is not in the
Dalvin
top
Tomlinson.
No. Myles Garrett.
3? Jay?
No, JOK. JOK. I'm going JOK.
God, I thought JOK
He
played
did.
a great
well.
game.
I think he did too.
But this is a sucker question.
I think
isn't
so.
it?
That's why I think.
It's probably JOK.
I think so.
God,
bro.
man.
He
had
was
all the plays.
everywhere.
I got to
but
say, my eye test, JOK played the best game of his time
I agree.
in a Cleveland Browns uniform.
I agree.
So with that being said, PFF got this one wrong, and they went with JOK as
I'm
not
gonna go
in
with
the
JOK.
top 3.
So Jace quit PFF, and then he just completely agreed with PFF's evaluation. JOK was the highest graded player on either team in this game, the highest grade of his career. He graded out at an 89.8.
That's hard to do
One
as
of
a
the
linebacker.
5 highest
Telling you.
linebacker grades in the NFL this
Best-
season.
best game he's
Myles
played.
Garrett, by the way, never grades below a 70. Despite having 4 pressures against Trent Williams, it was his lowest graded game in over a year as well.
You would almost expect that just because he's
Trent.
going against the best left tackle in the game and a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He's good.
Trent
Williams
Didn't they come out with a stat that
What
said
did Trent Williams grade out?
Trent Williams, I can tell you right now, Trent Williams graded out a very low for him,
Sure.
49.2.
So did Miles play that bad?
No.
If me playing against you, you got a 42 and I got almost a 70. But that, so is Miles
That's like one of those cases of greatness canceling out greatness.
right?
they did to me?
Yeah, like they canceled that
Me
boy.
too.
They canceled that way out. Like 44.
Didn't they say?
But I went reverse logic on the JOK thing.
I did too.
I mean, I said JOK played the best,
best
but
I've
knowing
seen.
PFF, they're going to say he played the worst.
And here's
But
just a little
they got it
comparison
right.
because we love comparing Miles to the other elite pass rushers in football. Well, he had 4 pressures on 15 pass rush attempts against Trent Williams. That's a
Micah Parsons
26.7%
had
rate.
0.
The week before, in the 49ers loss of Dallas,
See
Micah
that?
Parsons had 0 pressures and 8 pass rush attempts.
Did you guys
against
see the
Williams.
play Parsons
Dang.
made?
Yeah, last night he was unbelievable.
To seal the game.
Unbelievable.
I mean, the interception sealed the game on
Yeah,
the next play.
yeah.
But that play he made on third down.
That was crazy.
Why
Why didn't
like
he
he got shot out of a cannon.
Well, I think you know what it is? It's because he's been criticized all week about not showing up.
Well, that's probably it.
Yeah, he knew he had to show up this game.
We got 2 more before we welcome in Mary Kay here. These are, once again, the lowest graded Browns defensive players. So
Okay.
2 of these guys graded the lowest and the second.
I think I.
One of them isn't, just making sure we're on the same page.
Okay.
I
Greg
got Taki
Newsome.
Taki,
Oh,
Delpit,
that's
and
my guy.
Zadarius Smith
Yeah, I'm
Taki.
going with Taki.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taki was
as who
bad.
didn't grade low.
Oh, who did?
Oh, no.
That's what I'm saying. This is
Oh,
2 of
Zadarius
the 3
Smith.
or 1 and 2 of the
Yeah.
lowest. Who isn't in the bottom 3?
Zadarius Smith.
Yeah,
gonna
I would
go
say
with-
probably Zadarius
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Yep.
3 for Zadarius. 3 correct answers. Zadarius Smith, the 5th lowest defensive grade, but frankly, he did not grade out great, and you could take it, Steve,
No.
if you want. Taki and Delpit, their lowest graded games of the season as well.
And look, it's to be
That's
expected
2 in a row.
too.
Ain't that 2 in a row for Dale Pitt?
They're playing the number one.
As soon as we said that segment, Tyvis,
Oh my God!
we
It's
jinxed
making me look like a fool.
I mean, they playing good people.
Step it up.
That's what happens.
But
when you
that's
put
not fair
crap-
because he only had 1 coverage, and I think it was 1 time, and he caught. I think they caught the ball for like 6 yards. I
And
think
look,
that was it.
you see how dangerous this can be? These dudes, according to these numbers, play like trash.
You know it's
Can
cool.
you imagine what
Yeah,
they're gonna look
you're
like
right.
if they was in? If they
You know,
played
and you
their
know what
best
else is
games?
crazy? That's why I asked him, how many times do you think that people, front offices, use y'all grades for
Yeah, and he gassed his answer. He was like, "Oh, I imagine it's used quite a bit in negotiations." Man, no one's bringing that up. No one's bringing that up.
Because here's the thing. The one thing that here's how they can make it better. If they are already in conjunction with the league, right?
Yeah.
If they can get every NFL team to give them the call sheet,
That'll never happen. Yeah, that'll never happen though. Teams aren't letting that go.
why would they? Yeah, why would you do that?
Yeah, they're not letting that go.
well, if they can
I
get
mean,
them-
all you'd have to have is somebody on the panel that gets a hold of the game sheet and hands it over to your rival, and now what? Like, they're not going to do that.
yeah,
And that's okay. Look, I mean, it is what it is. It's a fun thing to talk about. Sometimes they get it right, and sometimes, just based off the eye test, they are egregiously wrong. And this Amari Cooper example to me,
You upset about that?
I am hot
ain't
about
letting it
that.
go.
I
Jay,
watched that man play the game of his life in Cleveland.
because he can't. Because it's physically impossible. You can't have a 61 or 69.
You caught everything that was thrown your way. One of them was uncatchable.
You
broke two guys' ankles. And PFF gives you a 61?
His route running got to be a 99. Has to be.
Has to be.
All right, last one. These are the highest graded defensive backs from the Browns on Sunday. Which one of these is not one of the three highest graded defensive backs? You have Thornhill, Denzel Ward, and Rodney McLeod.
I'm going to go with Ward.
Denzel, he ain't do nothing.
No. But now, he might get credit for that. He didn't have to do anything.
You can't
but McLeod and Thornhill, I thought
they made plays.
I thought they played great.
I thought Thornhill's is the lowest. Ward's is the highest.
And let's see. Wow, Thornhill actually graded out the highest of any Browns DB. He had a 70.1. Ward
it was
54.4.
Damn, McLeod had 8
54.1. I was surprised by that one as well.
8 tackles, the man got a 54. He was everywhere. PFF, RIP.
I don't get it.
I need a T-shirt. I'm gonna get. Okay, can you print up some T-shirts for me? You got the connection. I want PFF, RIP. I want Amari Cooper's face on it.
You gonna get a lawsuit.
They got the on-demand graphic tees ready to go. I want PFF trash underneath, and one of them baskets you throw your documents away on your Microsoft Windows.
Delete bin. All right, do we need a read before Mary Kay?
I got to do a read as we bring in Mary Kay Cabot here in 1 second. And
PFF,
as always, it's a great time to remind the people out there that if you're trying to snap into the gambling action on the NFL this season, you better be doing it with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when they place a $5 bet on any game, on any prop. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now. The app is so easy to use. I use it every day. I have a problem, actually, but you can get help if you do. You can join me in that help. There's a wide range of options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and kick off the NFL season with FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. And with that, let's welcome in Mary Kay Cabot, our Hall of Fame Cleveland Browns beat writer. What's up, Mary Kay?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Hi, Mary Kay. What do you know about Deshaun Watson? That's the #1 topic of conversation. Where's the shoulder? Do we know?
Well, I've been trying to provide as many details as I possibly can, and what I came up with on Friday is that this is a deep contusion of one of the rotator cuff muscles. There are 4 of them, and this is the largest one that he has the contusion in. So it really affects all of his throwing motion and it affects strength. And what I do know is that they are not going to put him out there until they feel really good about the fact that he's throwing normally and that he is pain-free. Now, the good news is that he made a lot of progress last week inside the building. He threw more than we really thought that he did. We didn't get very many details last week at all. They've gotten very buttoned up about this, but he did throw inside the building. He made significant progress. He's throwing with more velocity each day. And if he progresses this way, continues along this trajectory this week, then he will play against the Colts. But again, the benchmark is he's got to be pain-free, and he's got to be reporting that accurately. Now, he wants to play. So, if he feels a little bit of pain in the shoulder, is he going to say something about it? Is he going to keep that to himself? We're going to have to find out how that goes, because obviously these guys want to get out there. They feel that they're invincible. They don't want to miss games. He knows that this is such a high-stakes season. So he's going to want to play, and they want him to play. But he's got to be pain-free. He's got to be throwing the ball normally without pain. And I think the key is if he goes out there on Wednesday and he throws the ball and he feels pretty good, and he wakes up on Thursday and he feels okay, then they can take it to the next step. So it's just a matter of how he continues to progress throughout the week.
Mary Kay, when you talk about, Deshaun Watson, he usually speaks, during the week. Some people last week had a problem or issue with him not speaking because they said, hey, his teammates are going to have to answer those questions week after week or game after game. What went into the thought process of, him not speaking? Obviously, if you're not playing, you don't have to speak. That's the rule. But what went into that thought process? You just concentrating on getting back on the field, or what went into that?
It's just that. If you're not playing, you're not going to be talking to the media. It's the starting quarterback that week that is going to be speaking to the media. So that's kind of how that goes. When he's ready to play, and he's ready to start, or at least getting very close to that point, then they will roll him out there in front of us and put him at that microphone, and they will let him talk to us. So, Wednesday and Thursday will be telling. I don't know if they will have him talking to us on Wednesday if they're not sure if he's going to start yet. Maybe they'll push it to Thursday to see how he comes through the Wednesday practice. Again, he's throwing on his own inside the building, and he has made really, really good progress to the point where he is waking up the next day and he can build on what he did the day before. But the true test is when you get out there and practice and you try to kind of let it rip a little bit. And when you think about this, Andrew Berry did tell us, he gave us a very telling detail during the bye week. He said that Deshaun could not lift his shoulder after this injury happened. Well, that's pretty significant. If you can't lift your shoulder, you have to go from that to being able to whip a ball down the field 50, 60 yards. So, so we'll have to see how he feels throughout the week. But I will say that there is optimism inside the building that he's going to be able to go on Sunday.
Mary Kay is 2 weeks away. I got to know, again, where are we looking at on the trades now? I mean, obviously we're not getting a ton of production out of our wide receiver room outside of Amari Cooper. I know you talked about maybe going into the wide receivers, looking for a trade there. Running back is still something. Left tackle is still something. What do you got?
Well, I don't think that there are going to be any major blockbuster deals at this point, but you never really know because sometimes those things don't present themselves until you get right up against the trade deadline. And so some guys that might not be available right now, there are still 2 games before the trade deadline. So depending on what happens for a team, if they think they're in it, if they think they're out of it, if they start selling players, that's when you know a little bit more. I don't think that there's going to be any clamoring right now for another receiver, but I would add another receiver. I would go out there and I would find another good wide receiver to add to this mix. Because if you really think that you're going somewhere and you have a championship caliber defense, and you really do, then you need to make sure that your offense is going to be able to complement it and do everything that your offense needs to do. And so I would go out and I would find another good weapon for Deshaun. And, from a running back standpoint, I think they feel like they're going to be okay. They just bumped up against 3 of the best run defenses in the NFL over the last 3 weeks, and they did pretty well against the 49ers, remarkably. So, Jerome Ford is coming around. Kareem Hunt got involved this past game. I think they feel okay there. I would still probably look for a veteran backup quarterback. I don't think they have plans to do that either. From what I understand, I just think they feel okay. They still actually really like Dorian Thompson-Robinson as the number 2 as they move forward. They really like him in that role and feel like, for the most part, he was just put in a very tough situation against the Ravens where he didn't know he was going to start until a couple hours before the game and whatnot. So I don't know if they're going to make any big splash, but, we do know that Andrew Berry is very aggressive. He loves to tinker with that roster. He likes to really aggressively add talent to the team, and he might have an opportunity to do something before the deadline.
Mary Kay, one of the things that I loved to see on Sunday, and it really, I think, brings together his role on this team as a leader. Deshaun Watson was, and again, when you're watching it on TV, there's only certain things you can see. It's only when the cameras are on him. But I asked a couple people that were at the game that are observing all of the stuff that goes on the sidelines, and they kind of backed up what the TV cameras told us, that Deshaun Watson was hyped. He was engaged. He was helping with PJ, talking in between possessions, pointing things out. I think that bodes so well for this team. We need him to be a leader. And I just, what do you know about his involvement in PJ's preparation, both in the week leading up to it and during the game? What was going on between the 2 of them?
Oh, he's fantastic in that way. And, all you have to do is look at the offseason to see what kind of a leader Deshaun Watson is in that regard with his teammates. I mean, he gets these guys together for workouts in Houston. He gets these guys together for workouts in Puerto Rico. He took them to Atlantis in the Bahamas. That's what Deshaun Watson is all about. He is a team guy. He's a rah-rah guy. He's a vocal leader. He brings guys together. If you remember when DeAndre Hopkins was talking about, a place that he wanted to go, he talks about Deshaun Watson in that way as being a quarterback who brings everybody together. So yes, he definitely helped PJ as much as he possibly could. He was as in the game. You could see some photos afterwards or some videos afterwards if you see how pumped and hyped he was. And he knows they helped keep the train rolling along for when he gets back. And he really is a great team player.
Mary Kay, what you mentioned the need to go after a receiver. You feel like they need to get another solid receiver for Deshaun Watson. What's gone wrong with the Elijah Moore thing? It just seems like it just hasn't worked. They've been trying a lot of different ways to get him the football. When they give the ball in reverses, seems like he's a little hesitant to cut the ball up. It just doesn't seem he has the vision on those plays. What's been going wrong with that? And do the Browns see it like you see it? They need to get another guy in there that can help out the offense.
I don't know if they see it the way that I see it. I think that they believe that there are two players in particular who are going to get much more involved in the passing game going forward. One of those is Elijah Moore, and the other one is David Njoku. Think about this mind-blowing stat. There's only one touchdown pass thrown to a wide receiver so far this season. Just one. That's Amari Cooper. That's it. And through 5 games. That's certainly not enough when you have what you thought was going to be a pick-your-poison. They need to just kind of, for the most part, back off of the running thing. Have it in your arsenal occasionally for when you need it, but I would get him as involved as possible in the short passing game and maybe even on some deeper routes. His route average was about 12 point something when he was with the Jets. Now it's only 8. That's not enough. He needs to get a little deeper. He's got really good speed. And yes, you can get the ball into his hands and let him get the yards after catch, but I think you can get him on a little bit, some more of those intermediate routes. And I think you should go back to his rookie year with the Jets and find out exactly how he got those 5 touchdown catches and study those and try to see things and routes that help him feel confident and comfortable with what he's doing. He's a work in progress, and I think it will come. Remember that they've had DTR and PJ Walker at quarterback the last 2 weeks, so they haven't been able to build on anything that Deshaun and Elijah have tried to get going. So, I think that they feel that there is more there to mine and to get, and same thing with David Njoku. David, of course, has been battling through these burns, and as the weeks go by, I think he'll get more comfortable and better, and I think Deshaun will find him more.
Mary Kay, I'm about to ask you about something that's very touchy in the Cleveland community. Kevin Stefanski's play calling this past Sunday. What did you think of it? And can you believe that people still want him fired?
Yeah, he really is a target, and it's pretty incredible to see that even after a victory like that, when I thought they had a really good game plan, when they ran against the number 3 run defense in the NFL, when they held the second highest scoring team in the NFL to only 17 points. And that included spotting them at the 8 one time. I really liked that direct snap to Harry, as they call him, to Harrison Bryant, and the run by Kareem. I thought that was good. I thought getting Kareem involved was important because nobody wants to defend, I call it the lakefront home, more than Kareem Hunt does. And, he played with his hair on fire, and that was a really cool touchdown. And we get to watch those Friday routes that they run down there on the goal line. And so it's really cool to see some of the stuff that's coming that you're not allowed to talk about, film, or write about. But they had some good things in this game plan, and I thought he did a nice job. I thought Kevin Stefanski had a very nice game.
Mary Kay, I got a miscellaneous question, and I don't know if you got the answer to it or not, but I'm going to ask you anyways. Why does Deshaun Watson not want to be called Derek?
Oh, is that – I don't know the answer to that. I do.
Where did you get that from?
Did you make that up?
Is his name Derek Deshaun Watson?
I don't know.
You know what? I don't even know the answer to that. I'm sorry. I'll have to go look that up for you, and I can give you the answer next week. Maybe, probably won't ask him in the press conference.
Please do. I always wanted to know. I just wanted to know.
His name is Derek. So
his first name is Derek, but
that is true.
He
That's
goes
a
by
fact.
Deshaun. I wanted to know why.
Maybe people
Well,
just
I'll see if I can find that out for you.
Thank you, Mary Kay. You're the best.
But-
I just miscellaneous. It's a miscellaneous question.
Yeah, well, listen, I didn't even know that was his real name. As far as I knew, his name was Deshaun Watson.
No, it's Derek, and I always was like, I wonder why he doesn't want to be called Derek Watson.
Maybe he should switch it. Remember, Albert Bell, once upon a time, was Joey Bell. And he didn't like some of the baggage that he was carrying when he was Joey, so he changed it to Albert, and he became a perennial all-star.
Like I'm wrong.
I don't think either one of us knew it.
You did. Y'all definitely knew it because it was a question that they asked us on a true or false.
I don't remember that.
I
stuff.
do. See, I do.
Mary Kay,
Insignificant.
That seems more tabloidish. I don't know.
Mary Kay, I listened to the post game, so if you decide to ask that question during one of his post-game conferences, I will be listening.
That's not appropriate for a post-game.
Why not?
That's something you ask them off to the side on your own.
If the Browns go out there and blow the team completely out, you can ask miscellaneous
questions. She will not ask that in a post-game, will you, Mary Kay? It's not appropriate.
We get hammered enough for the questions that we ask or
You're right.
don't ask. I'm not going with Derek.
You can tell him I said, tell him I asked.
Shut up, Mary Kay. Go ahead.
Travis would also like to know, what's your favorite color?
And what is the thread count on your bed? What? No, you can't get that off.
Do you prefer long walks on the beach or quiet evenings alone? Come on, Travis.
I'm sure nobody ever asked him that question. So she could be the first.
It's not a good question.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. If I ever go to a Cleveland Browns give back charity function and he's there and he has a free minute, I can pull him aside.
There you go.
Tell him, Davis wants to know.
No, Mary Kay, listen. Take it from a former athlete. All he's been hearing about is the shoulder, the shoulder, the shoulder, the shoulder. So if you ask him something that's not shoulder related, it'll be a breath of fresh air. He'd be like, finally, something outside of the shoulder.
Huh.
Oh, sure. I can just imagine
how that
would be received. I would go viral.
Hey, Mary Kay, let's turn into real important stuff here, and that's the Colts. Gardner Minshew isn't exactly your average run-of-the-mill backup. He's had some significant time as a starter. What are they in for Sunday? And this is a team that went to Baltimore with Gardner Minshew in there and won. They beat the Ravens in Baltimore. So I think this could be a trap game. You don't want to overlook them. What are the Browns in for on Sunday?
Well, I think the thing to remember with football teams is it's how teams match up against one another. And we now know that Kyle Shanahan doesn't ever match up well against a Jim Schwartz defense. And if they end up, meeting in the Super Bowl, he's going to have to figure out how to try to move the ball and score some points on Jim Schwartz's defense because, that is just something that he has not been able to do yet. Jim Schwartz is now 8-1 against him. So what teams are going to have to figure out is what kind of a little chink in the armor, what kind of a little hole they can find somewhere in this Browns defense. And it's not going to be easy. They are so strong at every single level of that defense, and you've got to get the ball out so very quickly. And teams are going to figure it out. I mean, you've got this, amazing defensive front, and there you guys are showing, the schedule that's coming up there, for the Browns. But this defensive front is so strong that somebody's going to have to find a way to beat it. There's got to be something that a team can do, some part of the field that they can try to attack in some way. And I don't know what it is. I mean, Todd Monken had some success, but I think part of that had to do with the fact that DTR was throwing interceptions in that game and starting you once at 10, starting you once at the 36. And, so the defense really only gave up 14 points in its own right in that game even. Incredibly hard to move the ball. It's a championship defense, the best I've ever covered. And, I was thinking about that this morning, that Gardner Minshew and the Colts, they're kind of in for it. just the way everybody else is against this defense. And unless Shane Steichen, their excellent new head coach, comes up with some very, very genius and brilliant way to attack this defense, it's going to be a long afternoon for them again.
You just said something.
You just dropped a nugget.
I was going to say, is this the best defense you've ever seen for the Cleveland Browns? Well, let's raise it up a little bit. If the Browns are playing at this level, if they just get good quarterback play, can they win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, they can win the Super Bowl. I mean, they just beat a team that could end up in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, they can. And look what happened to the Eagles yesterday. Or Sunday. They can beat anybody. The Browns with this defense can beat anyone. They have a defense that can win a Super Bowl for them or help them win a Super Bowl if they're not giving the ball away on the other side of the ball. So if you can protect the ball, run the ball, and make some hay in the passing game, this team can absolutely go out and win the Super Bowl, and I think they showed that on Sunday.
Man, my day just got a whole lot better.
Yes, it did.
She's been covering this squad for a long time, and her eyes don't lie, and you heard it. She said this is the best defense she has ever covered, and yes, it is capable, if they get quality play out of the quarterback or just take care of the ball, to win a Super Bowl. Mary Kay, you made our day. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
Tell Derek we said hello.
I will. First question on Wednesday.
She's right. She'd get run right out of the media room. Peter would look at her like, wait, what did you just say?
It shows that you two don't pay attention to the hard research that Mikey McNuggets do.
Stuff.
McNuggets went and got that nugget for us.
Yeah.
And y'all don't even remember.
I worry about football stuff.
How does that help? That's not a Kool-Aid worthy nugget right there.
No.
I said it was a miscellaneous question.
It was very miscellaneous.
Yeah.
I set the floor before I asked the question.
Why don't you go to Media Vail tomorrow and you ask?
You think they let me in?
Why wouldn't they? You're part of the pregame and postgame
You
show.
work for the team?
I just ask you.
I mean, this isn't China, is it?
You're right. I just pull right up on them and I'll ask you.
I think you should.
They should. Between me and you.
Yeah, look.
Matter of fact, we should just text him.
So why you don't want to be called Derek?
There must be a story behind it. All right, I can't wait for this. This is going to be my favorite part of the show.
Let's go.
Do we have to do a read first, or are we just jumping into the trades?
No, I got to read real quick.
Okay.
Guys, we mentioned it earlier. We're going to mention it again, but if you need the best, most comfortable, casual, athletic gear on the market, you better head over to birddogs.com. Every time I wear them in public, I get compliments on them. Whether that's right or wrong, according to G. Bush, people recognize the swag of the Bird Dogs pants, the hat, the logo, top-notch brand, super comfortable, super, I keep saying it's casually aesthetic a word? If it's not, it is, because they look good and they're comfy as hell. Check them out.
They're
at
diverse,
birddogs.com.
right? They're diverse. I mean, you can use them as exercise.
And you can work out, or you could wear them to work.
That's, I think, that moving forward, the clothing of the next decade is what you just said. You can do anything in them. They have jeans now that are so flex, you could do yoga in them.
Yeah,
Lululemon, all of that kind of stuff. You can wear it. Now, I'm kind of curious if you could take me through this. How did one of the compliments about your pants go? So we can decide whether or not it was appropriate or not. Did someone come up to you and say, McNuggets, love you on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Them some damn nice draws. How did it go?
Hey, chill out,
I could assure you that cannot be further from what happened. It was those look super comfortable because it was cold out. It was rainy. Like, it wasn't a great day on Sunday.
Right.
So those super comfortable and warm. What are they? And I was like, yo, Bird Dogs.
And this was you say this was another man that said this.
It might have been a woman. He didn't say it was another man.
No, it was a guy. It was a guy.
It was a guy. Okay.
All right, so let's get into these fake trades here, guys. So you guys know how my brain works. I can't sit still. So over the bye week, I started thinking a little bit about this, doing some research, making some phone calls to see what compensation might be. And I think I've come up with 5 real trades and one that's way out there but would be a lot of fun that I think you guys are going to enjoy. So here's how we're going to do it. Before each of these trades, because last time we did fake trades, everyone was like, this will never happen. So I made it very simple. We made graphs to show you guys where on the axis of real and fun does this hypothetical trade fall. So before each one, you're going to see a McNugget, or it's actually my face, on a graph to show you how I think how realistic and fun this trade would be. So these are all trades I would like to see the Browns consider.
And the axis points are realistic and fun.
No,
it is fun on the left. Your vertical axis is fun on the horizontal line, it is realistic.
Oh,
It's
okay.
F around
And find out.
Exactly. So I'm going to give you the scale, or the graph, excuse me. Then I'll give you the trade. I'll hear your thoughts, and I'll tell you why it won't happen or will happen at the end. Okay. The first one is a Courtland Sutton trade. And on the graphic, Steve, it is a 6 on the fun level, a 2 on the real level. And I'll tell you why in a sec. But here are the details of the trade. The Browns would receive Courtland Sutton, the receiver from the Broncos, in exchange for a 4th-round pick and Cam Mitchell. Here's why it makes sense. The Browns desperately need a wide receiver. Like, desperately need another wide receiver. The Broncos are an absolute catastrophic dumpster fire. Sorry, Anthony. And they're looking to recoup any and all assets humanly possible. The problem is Sutton is set to make $17 million in 2024 and 2025, which makes it a very, very
That's the
hard
elephant in the room.
A very, very hard trade to pull off, which is why in the realistic level it was at a 2. But in the world where Jimmy Haslam says, F it, money doesn't matter, is this the right compensation? Would you take Courtland Sutton? What are your thoughts on this?
No,
I would not do it.
And I played with Courtland, and I really good dude. Enjoyed my time in Denver with him. He hasn't been quite the same since he tore his ACL.
I agree with that.
And $17 million, that he ain't playing like. I mean,
he tore his ACL a couple times.
He just ain't been the same guy. Like before that, dude was like that. Like he was going over on top of people catching the thing. Like he ended up, I think he blessed Denzel one time, but ever since that injury, he ain't played like that or even been remotely close to that. So for $17 million, I'll roll it out with DPJ.
He does have 4 touchdowns this year, which is 400% more than the Browns' entire receiving room has.
In garbage time, probably.
Well, this team's 1-5, so probably a lot of those were in garbage time. Russ has been pretty good throwing the ball this year.
In garbage time.
In garbage time is facts, but he's got, 11 touchdowns and 2 picks or something like that?
He run like he got lineman knee braces on. Nobody.
Are you saying that? Are you possibly saying that he's not a good quarterback?
No, I'm talking.
No, he's talking about Sutton.
Oh, I thought I was about to say.
Your boy got a diesel knee brace. Shifted
He's
into
still
gear.
Wearing the knee brace?
Man, I said he run like he got one.
Oh,
that's even worse.
That's a no for me.
Okay.
I think you're going in the right direction. Like, we've got to improve the wide receiver room. Every time I hear that, a little bit of throw-up creeps into my mouth. 1 touchdown for our entire wide receiver room in 5 games.
It's ridiculous.
Hey, can you imagine?
You can't do that.
Elijah Moore is even worse than he was with the Jets. That's crazy.
Now, to Mary Kay's point, we've only really seen him 3 games with the A-team quarterback.
Oh, okay.
Like
I'm
the
about
last
to say,
2
where you
games.
going with this?
No, the last 2 games.
Well, he was open the last game. He got missed. They didn't get the ball to him.
Right. Let's hope that the quarterback wide receiver chemistry that does take time to develop. Let's hope that it was just coming into focus for when we had Tennessee Watson. And moving forward, but I'm going to start judging him more and more harshly with each game. Like Jason said about Deshaun. Before the Tennessee game, each time I go out and watch him play poorly, in my mind, it's less likely that we're ever going to see Houston Watson.
Has the council stricken his reverse plays from the playbook?
Who, Elijah
No,
Moore?
those are always going to be part of the record. Oh. And you said it earlier, and Mary Kay touched on it. She thinks they should move on from trying to use him in the run game. I agree with that. Just give all of his run plays to Marquise Goodwin.
Transferable. Western Union, them joints right on over to him. I like how he got upfield. But
this the thing. I always thought Elijah Moore was fast, and he don't outrun nobody.
Listen, you can be fast. You've got to see things. He's not picking the
he
right
ain't got
hole.
that either.
Dang, Tyvis, thank you for being. Hey, listen, my mother was like, my mother calls you out for being. I'm like, bro, you're a really supportive person.
Yeah, you got the
She was
juice
like,
like that.
that number 8. Is he hurt? I said, what you mean he hurt? He ready to go.
Mom doesn't like him?
He's like, listen.
He not fast like
he
that.
can't get around the corner.
Yeah, Marquise did it in fuel.
Marquise is when you watch Marquise, he's got a different gear.
But like
he's Olympic fast.
What did Mark? He ran a 4.3, didn't he?
And he not even
allegedly.
He don't got no joystick game either.
Man, he ain't got no
burst.
burst. It's not no burst to
No.
it.
So,
even Odell after 3 ACLs still got a burst.
Yeah.
The Browns saw the same thing on Sunday. They saw Marquise look like he was shot out of a cannon,
Right.
and they saw number 8 running backwards.
Backwards again.
Like, I can't have that. Okay.
All right, this next trade was Jason Lloyd's personal favorite.
Oh, good.
I got to see if this is
Yeah,
good.
I mean,
this might be.
Realistic fun level.
He said he was
He
mad
did.
he didn't think of it.
He didn't guess.
He
This
On
is
the
conservative.
realistic fun level, this is a 10 on the fun and a 6 on the realistic level.
Okay.
Could I interest you guys in Saquon Barkley?
Oh
No.
my God.
For a third-round pick.
To do what?
You think the Giants are going to trade him for a third-round pick?
The Giants are tanking. He
I
is under
understand that.
contract for 0 games after this year. He's on the franchise tag.
Right?
If nothing else, he adds a receiving threat to the backfield.
That's true.
Which they started to utilize more this past week with the screen game with Kareem Hunt. Say what you want about Kareem Hunt. Saquon, at least in that aspect, adds a whole new element to this offense as far as a yak
Why would
receiver.
they give him? I don't.
The Giants are trying to recoup assets. They
Are
have
you?
nothing to play for. They are 1-5. They are
Well,
in flat
you know
out tank
what?
mode.
Listen,
and he
I'll
is
take
going
him.
to be a free agent that they are not going to resign.
No,
So
maybe-
if you get a third-round pick back for him, the Giants. I'm telling you, the Giants would gladly take it.
If they take that trade, I'd take it.
Here's the key, and this is why you said earlier, McNugget says some things that on face value they're nuts, and then
Yeah.
you think about them. The fact that it wouldn't hurt their salary cap situation for next year, they're in good position this year. What they can't do is take on money that's going to hurt them after this year. So the more I think about that,
They ain't gonna take him. They ain't giving them Saquon for no third. But if they,
I don't
if
think
do,
they will.
I'd
I
take
don't
that
think
to
they'll
the
because
bank.
you know why?
My dad said, as a Giants fan, is the same way. He said if we got a 5th, we'd send him in a heartbeat. I said that feels too low.
Fifth. Here's the thing.
They have no picks. They need
Don't
picks.
you think,
I'd
though,
pick the
Mike, that
phone
there's
up.
going to be another team that has draft assets that we don't, that would say, oh, we can beat that. We'll give you a second for him.
But you're only going to get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. I mean, he's only in
Wait,
the contract
4
for
or 5 or 6?
Yeah, that was
Wait,
done. You only
I've
get
got 12 left.
10
I'm
games out of him.
sure that they
I've
will
got
be,
12 left.
Well, if it's another team who had another bye week, you're getting essentially 10, 11 games.
I'm sure they would say we want to extend you to a bigger deal after this.
I don't
If
know
I'm
that-
giving
no,
up
I don't-
anything
no,
more than a third, I'm talking about if I'm not the Browns. I'm
Yeah,
talking
oh,
about
another
any other-
team, yeah. No, that's
any other
true. Some
team.
team
If
could
you're giving up
offer
a
sign and
first or a
trade.
second, you definitely extending his contract for sure.
That's what I'm saying. A third feels about the right value for half a season of Saquon.
Yeah,
They not giving that up. If they do, I
The Giants are trying to lose, Ty.
I
They're
take the
officially
trade.
in tank mode.
I take
So
the-
they-
Could you imagine, though, Giants fans? Like, I know you're trying to tank, but he's the only
weapon
valuable player.
ever.
Yeah, when you're trying to get a new quarterback and you have to have the lowest.
Wait,
draft
how can you get a new quarterback? You just paid
paid
Jones.
me.
He's only a 2-year deal. He's out after next year. His contract's 2 years guaranteed. 2 years. It's 2-year, $80 million deal. That whole $160
See,
million.
that's why you
thing.
do. That's why you do a deal like that, right there.
Yeah, it was a 2-year, fully
you can punt.
guaranteed.
least he
You
got-
can punt on that.
at
When
least
you
he got 80
guarantee
million.
that bread for 5 years, you got handcuffs.
Listen, he don't care. He up 80.
No, it's great for him, but it's also great for the Giants
He walked in there.
because they've probably already made
one
the
season.
decision.
Give me all the money.
Can't do it. Can't win with them.
They're going to draft a quarterback in the first round next
I'm
year.
doing that. I would do that move because
Still taking Caleb Williams after what he looked
Yep.
like against Notre Dame?
Yep.
Because that boy looked like he was seeing
Have
ghosts.
you seen Daniel Jones play any game of his career? Like, yeah, you take almost anyone over that.
Okay.
They not. Well, first of all, he's going first pick, so you got to deal with Drake May or Michael Penix Jr. or something like that.
Yeah, you do. All right. Fun. If they could do it, I would say yes, do it.
I'll make the move, and even if they want it, I consider doing it for a second round pick.
Do we got a second round pick? Yeah, we do.
The Browns do.
I
I
consider
cannot
doing-
see the Browns giving up a second-round pick for a half-year rental. at
Why,
running back.
why not?
Can't.
Mary Kay just said you
They
could get
gotta
a
be-
Super
well, they
Bowl.
all
I
in
think
on this season,
This
so.
trade isn't just for the regular season.
Yeah, that's playoff.
Like
It's a
the
postseason trade, yeah.
Yeah, so
a
it's
weapon for
not.
the
You keep
postseason.
saying 4, 5, 6, 7 games.
Nah.
I got 12 left. He won't play this week, so that's 11. Plus, the most important games of the year are the ones in January. So I don't know. It's not crazy.
You
Mike.
would 100% take that deal.
And by the way,
if I'm the Browns, I'm 100%. I would take
if Nick Chubb is not ready to come back at the beginning of next year, I'd consider assigning him to another 1-year deal, and I'd give him $13 million. What are you getting, 10 or 11? I'll give him 13 for a year.
We're going to punt that money down the road, too?
Heck yeah. That money's going down the road. I need all the weapons I can get.
What can they do with Chubb?
Nothing.
They're gonna restructure.
Oh, they
got
to restructure.
Yeah,
I
mean,
have to restructure it.
And what is the number? What is the target number for where he's going to be?
What is he?
That's the $64 million.
And he projected 16, right?
No.
18.
Oh,
I think it's 18.
He'll say it's different now. See, injury,
it is different.
It's different now.
Yeah.
So when you tear the first ACL, you still cocky a little bit. You tear the second ACL.
Well, now wait a minute. He didn't tear it in Georgia.
He didn't, but he
tore his MCL.
He's had multiple knee surgeries.
He's got knee surgery.
Yes, he did.
So when you get to,
I know what that means.
When you get to the second one, you
slows
start
you
to
down, man.
It slows. Listen, if anything, it shows you that you're immortal.
Yeah.
You can die out here, bro. And he's gonna be like, well, look, I just want to stay here, bro. I'm not trying to go to no other team.
Right.
Give me 12. If I can get 12 for him and 13 for Saquon. And Stefanski,
listen, you got a
dust that old playbook
punch. You take now. You ain't got to worry about 20 carries a game.
They didn't know what to do with Chubb and Hunt.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Well, Hunt was
Chubb.
Hunt.
Could you imagine though, Chubb and Saquon in the same
Tyvis said
backfield?
earlier.
That'd be a mic drop.
Tyvis said earlier, I put some of these out there, and in the moment you're like, no, and then you kind of think.
Listen. The longer I let that marinade, the longer I'm like.
He did take that 1-year deal.
What's next? We got to move past.
I like that.
All right, next one.
That's my favorite one.
The realistic level is a 0.001 on this one. The fun level 7. You would only even remotely consider this if you thought Deshaun Watson's shoulder was not going to recover properly. This is a only if you're not confident Deshaun's coming back. But in that instance, and we'll go through this one quick because it sounds like he's going to be back, so we're going to run through this. But would you give the Vikings a second for Kirk Cousins?
Yes.
What's his contract situation?
Free agent after the year.
Free agent.
Wow, man.
But you need a quarterback. Listen, this is it. I don't think y'all understand that after this season, stuff got to happen to the roster. So.
I know.
This is
I'm
it.
Very aware
you got to
of
be all in. So you might as well.
I don't hate that, but I'll tell you why I'm not going to do it. I trust Mary Kay Cabot.
Oh.
And she said that. Just reading between the lines of what Mary Kay said, he's supposed to play Sunday.
He said if he doesn't come back.
And I was thinking best case scenario. That's like best case scenario for me was, they ain't gonna bring him back Seattle. He'll come back, play Arizona, right? See if you can get some wins. She's
saying the Colts.
She's saying Colts.
Yeah, definitely the Colts.
Yeah. I mean, if he throws tomorrow and wakes up Thursday and feels good,
well, that's because
he's a go.
You went out there and you missed out. Your boys went out there and had the time of their life doing something nobody thought they could.
You're right.
And you wasn't a part of it.
It hurt.
It hurt, man. It hurt.
Yep.
It hurt. You're supposed to be the franchise guy, and they did it without you.
When they jumping up and down in them pads,
I'm telling
they
you.
giving out them game balls in the locker room, and you just looking around. I done been there. Listen, I was in sweat so much that I just felt like I should get the school back some money. I'm like, listen, let me go ahead and repay you, because I'm just never doing nothing.
I know that because I see somebody do that when I was at O State. Braxton did that. You ever talk to Braxton? He don't even talk about the championship.
No,
because he wasn't even a part.
Yeah,
of it.
I know.
He was out the whole year.
That's crazy.
I mean, not the whole year.
He was out the whole year.
Yeah, it was.
He tore it. He messed his shoulder up in training camp.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ain't that when you? And we went there. We've got to play in the swamp in Florida, and I'm just sitting there on crutches, just like, this is terrible.
Yeah, did it really happen?
Did it really happen? People like, I see. You know how MAC schools, you go down the list. Listen, you play for a MAC school, you look at every single big school you gonna play.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, man, I done missed 2 calendar years. I done missed all the games I even came here for. What is this worth?
Here's my scholarship back.
Back here, take this.
Yeah. If something happens and he's
out for the year,
I have to look and see where we are. if by
What else you gonna do, Jay?
no, listen. If you lose to Indianapolis, you lose to Seattle.
Even if you won,
And now you're 3-4.
even if you won with P.J. Walker and Deshaun is out, you're not winning the Super Bowl with P.J. Walker or
No.
DTR.
No, that's true.
You got to get the guy that at least he's worked with. Didn't he work with Kevin Stefanski?
He did.
Yeah, 1 year maybe.
He did,
I
and
think-
he has said, Cousins said he's not going to waive his no-trade clause, but maybe
saw
if the
that
Browns
yesterday.
entered the conversation
Hey.
with his old coach,
Maybe.
that could be a contingent.
The Browns can win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins.
With this defense.
Yeah, 'cause that
with this
defense-
defense.
the
It would
defense
be
is
like what
good.
the Bucks did with Brad Johnson.
Yeah.
What the Ravens did with Trent
But I
Dilfer.
think he's above. To me, he's a step above average.
I agree
he's
with
good.
that, yeah.
I think he's good. Like, it's not like he's trash.
Who's Kirk Cousins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He's just average.
I think he's good. I think with
Just
good.
average.
I think
He's average and he has moments.
I think he's good.
Huh. I'd have him top 13 or 14, which
Right?
Top half.
yeah.
You can win with that.
Yeah, he's
With
average.
this defense,
He's average.
you can win with that.
You can
He's
win
average.
with that.
Yeah.
Shoot.
What you just told me was he's average.
Yeah.
I think to me, average would be if he's 16 or 17, and I do think he's closer
I
to
think
the
he's
top
good.
10. He's not in the top 10.
I mean,
In
all he
1
does is
p.m.
throw for
games,
4,000.
he's top 10. In anything that's not a 1 p.m. game, he's
Is that a
not-
fact?
He's not good in primetime. His
Not at
primetime
all.
stats are abysmal.
Oh, you're
I
talking
think
about
he
prime time. I
won
thought you were
what?
talking
no,
about the difference
like 4
between 1
p.m.
and 4.
Anything that's not a 1 p.m. game,
Okay,
he's not good.
that's interesting.
Well, the
All right,
Browns
the
play a
first
bunch
trade I
of
threw
those,
out
so.
there for you guys was for a receiver. I got another receiver trade. This one I think is a little more realistic. I actually like this one a little more. It's got a 7 and a 7 on the realistic and fun level deal.
Wow.
When I'm looking at guys the Browns could acquire,
I like
you
it.
take a little realism here. It's guys who are in the last year of their contracts.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to take out money for next year, which eliminates a lot of the big names. But you got to look at tanking teams.
What are we
And what
giving
about
up?
Hollywood Brown?
That's
Yeah,
what I want to know.
no,
What if they
I
traded
like him.
Marquise Brown and a 6th for a 3rd-round pick this year and a
Who is
5th-round pick
Marquise
next year?
Brown?
Marquise Brown entering the last year, or he's in the last year of his contract. We already know AB and the GM in Arizona have trade
3rd
chemistry. They
and
made the
a
Dobbs
5th.
trade. So a 3rd and next year's 5th for Marquise Brown and a 6th-round pick this year.
Why are we? I take
Done.
that. Yeah,
Done.
Minimowski.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, because he got dropping. He drops the ball, but that speed is real. He would be what you thought Elijah Moore was supposed to be,
Listen, I throw in,
except
what I'm
without
saying?
the running the ball.
I throw in the meal plan too. Like, just come through. I got a chef for you.
You talk about stretching the field. man.
I got a meal plan. Hey, yo, nutritionist, come through, bro. We got somebody
take
cleaning
that.
up your quarters. Listen, we ready to go, bro. Give me that trade.
I do that. I like the way you're targeting teams that are just done.
It's easy to make trades for, like, any team before the season, but now, the Rams aren't going to trade Cooper Kupp now. So
The way the
that's out.
Giants and the Vikings, the Cardinals knew what they were going to be, but the Giants and the Vikings have been slapped in the face with the first 6-game reality. And, last year the Vikings were 11-0 in 1-score games. This year, I think they're
They're
1-4
Yeah.
in those same games. You live by that sword, you're going to die by it the bigger the sample size gets. So I think Minnesota would be willing to move on. The Giants are willing to move on.
Minnesota threw because Jay Jetter's out for like 4 weeks.
Right.
And on top of that, they let their whole D-line go to the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, they did.
That was,
They did.
Yeah.
Don't know what they were thinking.
We got 2 more. I wanted Bull here to be for the next one because Bull kind of inspired this. He had mentioned Trent Brown before, so I tried to figure out a deal to bring Trent Brown, the offensive tackle from the Patriots. Another team who thought they would be in contention this year has been an abomination. This one's not that fun because it's for an offensive lineman, but I do think it is a chance of realistic possibility to happen. Even though the Browns aren't going to trade for a tackle, they're committed to Jed Wills. This is probably their most realistic target. The reports out of Boston that the Patriots are listening to trade offers for Brown. No teams have been mentioned, but would you give a 3rd and a future 6th for Trent Brown, who's a top 5 graded PFF, which once again,
Done.
PFF.
Yep.
I thought Jed
Not
Wills
perfect.
in there too.
They're top 5 in both.
If they would
He-
take
both
Jed
run
Wills,
blocks.
they wouldn't take Jed Wills.
They wouldn't take Jed Wills.
No, we're stuck with that.
We're ready to roll.
We'll
You
do
know.
y'all. I'll do you a solid.
Yeah,
Hey,
they'll say you pay his 5th year. We'll take him. Other than that,
No,
we're not letting him in our building.
Not doing that.
This should really.
You pay his 5th year.
You should be really squared up. Like when people say I don't want to give no picks up, just ask yourself, where the heck is Cedric Tillman? Where's
I know.
Anthony Schwartz?
We've given picks up.
David Bell caught a nice ball for 6 yards, but it's David Bell. That was like one catch.
What round was he drafted?
Third.
So was Schwartz.
So Tillman, Schwartz, and Bell, 3rd round product.
Yeah, I would stop taking receivers in the
Yeah,
third round.
I think we
Do you got
yeah, we need to move
3rd
on.
round pick? You got Phillips, who gets hurt every year.
Yep.
He's hurt right now.
Yep.
Like, what are you
night.
talking about? Why would you
We
care?
got Martin Emerson in the 3rd. Alex Wright.
That's one couple out of 4. Out of
He
4
just has
drafts.
not hit on wide receivers.
No,
So-
I mean, but G said it. When has this franchise give us the one receiver this franchise drafted
Ever.
and developed?
Ever.
He was a tight end. His name was Ozzie Newsome.
That's it.
That's the only
Kelly
one.
Winslow was okay.
I mean, Webster Slaughter had some time.
He did.
He was a 1st-round pick, I think, out of San Diego State. Had a nice career.
He did.
Brian Brennan was a very serviceable. He was out of Boston College. Was the possession slot 3rd down guy that every team needs.
What about Corey Coleman?
No, bust. Huge bust.
Braylon Edwards.
The poster child of bust. Although he did have 1 year.
He had 1
He had 1 year. Well, when you're taking in the
don't
first
do
round.
that.
And the best receiver they ever had, they let walk to the Jaguars.
Dennis
Keenan
Northcutt.
McCardle.
Oh.
And
Hey,
he
did
can
I
put
see
up
him
crazy
coaching?
yards.
I think he's a coach. I'm pretty sure I saw him on someone's sideline, maybe the Vikings on Sunday. Keenan McCardle. Is he with the Vikings as a coach?
I can look that up.
I
I'm not
thought you was
positive.
about to say Dennis Northcutt.
Nah,
The
Dennis
king of pushing off.
No, Dennis Northcutt thought he was. Let me see what he thought he was back in the day.
He's remembered for the wrong reason in Cleveland.
He thought he was.
he thought
he
That
was
damn
better than-
4th down drop.
Thank you.
Hey, remember them? Remember the Browns thought they had them receivers? They was going teacup formation. Andre Davis, Quincy Morris, Dennis Northcutt,
Man.
and
That's a whole lot of bad.
And Kevin Johnson.
Kevin Johnson had some moments.
I say
Them
Kevin
4
Johnson was
receivers.
all right.
Hey, Andre Davis and Quincy Morgan was fast.
Who caught the Hail Mary from Tim Couch? Was it Johnson?
It was one of them fools.
Look it up.
Tim Couch threw that. That thing was that thing was thrown.
Yeah.
You talking about the one in New Orleans?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it was him. It was either him or Quincy Morgan.
I think it was Kevin Johnson.
Man,
He
wow.
threw that thing like 70
Johnson
yards.
sounds right to me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Kevin Johnson.
I didn't get the information.
All right, we got one more here, Jay. This one is the let's just throw a wrench in everything, have a lot of fun with this. On the scale, there is a 0. Steve, take the graph here. This is 0.000000001% chance
Look
this
at the
happens.
fun.
However, it is a
fun.
10,000 on the fun. G. Bush, we talk about not having weapons in the receiver room. Well, let's talk about having too many weapons on the defensive line. Let's add the league's top-ranked sack artist to the Browns' defensive line. What if I could tell you the Vikings would be willing to part ways with Daniil Hunter, David Quessenberry, and a 6th-round pick for our 2nd-round pick, our 3rd-round pick, Jed Willis Jr., Donovan Peoples-Jones, Austin Watkins Jr., and a giant pile of cash
Kevin Johnson was the answer.
to add the league's top sack artist
You got Jed Wells
to a defensive line with Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, and Dalvin Tomlinson. Hey, we already took
Well,
two
hell, they've
fours.
already given us everybody
I'm about
else.
to
From the
say,
I was
defensive
going to say,
line.
we've already
right.
taken half their defensive line from last year. Let's bring home the 3rd and maybe the most talented of the trio.
I tell you what.
Him alongside with those guys makes a lot of sense. Hunter, the last year of his deal. Once again, this will never happen. But, oh, my goodness, can you imagine Jim Schwartz with those weapons
I don't
on the
know.
defensive
I don't
line?
know who their D-line coach is, but he does a really good job because every time we get a D-lineman from the Vikings, they do well. You remember Sheldon Richardson was
Yeah.
from there. He was really good as a defensive tackle. And now you get these two, Zadarius and Dalvin.
Tomlinson.
They all very productive. If that
Why
should
are
be
they
our
letting
new,
them go,
That should be our new thing.
Money.
I guess.
No, it's definitely the money.
They're in like cap purgatory. Like
They have so much dead cap on their sheet, it's absurd.
From who?
we will
from a
too,
lot of guys.
in two or three
Who
years.
did they pay
That's gonna be us.
that they don't have?
Atlanta too.
Dalvin Cook.
They were in cap hell.
Oh yeah, Dalvin.
Yep.
That's the only one though.
Nah,
No, there's
I'll
others.
pull it up for you.
There are others.
Who the linebacker that left?
There are
Oh, Anthony
definitely
Barr,
others.
Eric Kendricks. Those guys both are dead cap hits this year. But imagine adding a guy with 8.5 sacks this season
Woo!
to the Browns defense. Like, you can start winning games 3-0. Like, you score a field goal on your first drive, just go home.
You might
It's
win
over.
2-0.
Hell, you might
You
win
get a
4-0.
sack in the end zone, and that's
That's two
all.
safeties
That's
a
it.
game. That's 2 safeties a game. That would never obviously happen, but
And they be rotating, so they always fresh. It'd be a fight. It'd be a dog fight to the quarterback.
I know.
They'd be in there.
The question would just be who's getting home on this play.
Yeah.
Man,
Miles would be like, I gotta step my game up because he gonna get there first.
that's crazy.
I'll be in the secondary. I sit down if I was one.
The best one.
I sit down at 15 yards. Like,
That is going to take a big pile of cash, though.
The best one is the Saquon Barkley one.
I think so too.
That was Jason's favorite as well.
And I think the second best one for me is Kirk Cousins. But
Well,
only, that's a break glass in the case of emergency trade.
y'all fooling yourselves. The best one was Trent Brown. You gotta have it.
I don't know.
You gotta have it.
I would take that one too. That wasn't a bad trade either.
And Hollywood. You guys said you'd do the Hollywood Brown trade.
Hey,
I
I
do
think
that
the
one,
Nuggets
too.
got a future as a GM.
I thought he was gonna say.
Where's your fantasy team? What place?
I'm tied for
he just lost.
second. No, I just won this week. I'm playing Jay this week, though.
Oh yeah.
Coming for you. I'm a first.
Yeah.
Wait, what you say? You where?
I'm in second place.
No, you're not.
No, because Tyvus is
Yeah,
tied.
I had to say,
You're
don't
fourth.
even sit here and tell that
You're
lie
fourth.
like that, because I'm
'Cause
definitely
Gene-
Doesn't
expecting
matter.
first.
I got my
you guys
first
are
win.
both tied for first, and I'm in third. I have the most points in the league, so I'm third with the
right.
most points in the league.
Well, let's see how it shakes out after this week.
I have 5 starters on bye. You caught me at a good
He
time.
must be
but-
stopped. He gotta
real
be
quick, you
stopped.
guys like the
No, I will
trades. The
not be stopped.
chat did not like my trades as much. So
Really?
win some, you're gonna lose some. It is what it is.
The chat told me that I need to go behind the glass with Anthony for asking about Deshaun Watson's
Did
real
they?
name.
Well, the fact that the chat doesn't like your trades makes me like them even more. Because, again, they famously have Jimmy Haslam as the best owner in Cleveland.
I'm going to read you a couple of those comments, then we're going to talk Emoni Bates real quick. Whenever we read you internet comments, it's brought to you by PCC Air Force. You're looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits. Well, PCC Air Force is the leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Air Force in Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up. Plus, full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. Freddie B says McNuggets is the GM for the Buffalo Wild Wings. Evan419 says, Mikey, my middle name is Eli McNuggets. And Freddie B says, McNuggets making Savannah Bananas levels trade. So, more popular with you guys than it was in the chat. You win some, you lose some. And hopefully when Saquon Barkley's a Brown, the apology is as loud as the disrespect. So, G, how about Emoni Bates? How about Emoni Bates, sir?
Listen, clap it up. Listen, you see I have my Cavs garb on today. Listen, man, imagine people telling me this dude is going to be in the G League. Imagine people saying he might not even, listen, Jason Lloyd, I don't know. This might be your second worst one. You swung and missed on DeJuan Jones, and now Emoni Bates is out here bulling. The fact of the matter is, now, I told you when Summer League started, dude, well, what is he good at? I'm like, this guy's an elite shot maker. He shoots it with effortlessly.
He shoot it with conviction. That's what he does.
And confidence. And guess what? I didn't have to say anything. His head coach had to say it. I didn't say nothing. Steve, take tag board, fool. I know you got the quote up there.
Lindsey directed now. He's cocky now,
we'll get
boy.
That man.
Hey, can you put up DTR's preseason stats, too?
Wow.
Take DTR's preseason full, please.
Listen.
He says, JB
Now-
said something about
now,
he'll be rookie
let's
of the
just
year.
call
if
it
he's a
what it
lottery
is.
pick.
Preseason?
Here you
Who
go.
were they playing yesterday?
Here you go.
Here.
Bickerstaff, real quick, while we're pulling it up, Bickerstaff
Boom.
said, we're fortunate that Emoni is here, and I think he's fortunate to be here because the pairing works. He also said he has a chance to be in the Rookie of the Year conversation had he been drafted in the lottery.
But not here.
Well, Rookie of the Year conversation would mean this season in Cleveland.
No. If he wasn't drafted here, he has the possibility of being in the Rookie of the Year
No, he
conversation.
said if he was a lottery pick, meaning that he would play more, he would be a starter.
Right. But if
I agree
Was
with
a
Jay.
fifth, we'd all be drunk.
I
your
agree with
grandma
what he's
had
saying.
wheels, she'd be a bike. So,
And I like to ride
and I do want to point. I do want to point this one thing out.
Here it goes.
He was playing not an NBA team yesterday, not the Israeli national team. He was playing against a team from Israel. Not like an all-star team, it's just a team. And you have to look at the level of competition.
I watched them do the same thing against the Atlanta Hawks.
I'm about to say,
Like, I watched them do after that, I watched them do the same thing. Who did they play the second game? Orlando Magic. He pulls up. He makes big shots. He comes in. He's ready to shoot. And by the way, he's playing every game he plays more and more under control. There's some times where in the preseason he would have jacked that shot up. Now he's reversing and skipping the ball.
he got to polish his game. He got to get more to his game. But if you talking about a spark plug like a J.R. Smith, just come in and just pull, like he's perfect.
So you have him as a contributor this year.
Yeah, he's going to contribute this year.
Can I get back to you with that?
Oh, no. Come on, Kool-Aid.
Well,
you got
how
Kool-Aid
much
on
longer
your shirt.
do we have to wait?
You got to
I can't wait until the sixth game when he hasn't seen the floor yet and have you say
I gotta look at the roster. Give me a second.
Listen, here's
give me a second.
Here's where Emoni Bates it can help you. Emoni Bates is not scared of the moment. There's a lot of cats, and people talk about Dean Wade. I know people like Dean Wade. Dean Wade came up short last year. He got spooked. I don't understand. I'm still trying to figure out what Jason's talking about. That Dean Wade was going to get his opportunity to play, but when Kevin Love left, he went in the tank. How's that possible? That's like saying Jay Crawford left the show. That means everybody else should be shooting. Everybody else wants to be the lead chair. How do you go in the tank and Jay left the show? How does that work?
When you say contributor, what do you mean?
I mean contributor. I mean, you know what I mean.
Like every game?
A guy that they rely on a regular basis. Not, it's garbage time, we're up or down 20.
So like in the regular rotation.
See,
he doesn't have to be on the A or B line, but I need him to be on that B line on a regular,
I will say this time, but he's not right now.
Even
he's
if it's
not in the rotation.
I'll see that right now.
Right now he's not in the rotation.
I don't see there's room for that right now.
Right now he's not in the rotation. Like,
but
if you watch, he's been creeping. You might.
I had a dude tell me that in 2 years, you watch, they're going to get rid of Max Strus and they're going to have Emoni Bates be that guy.
Okay. Well, that
2 years.
That's a succession plan. That's not this year. That's get into the system.
I said, I don't.
Listen, I believe that he will be a regular contributor for the Cleveland Cavaliers, just not this year.
So when you say, so here's the thing. I will say this, McNuggets. You look at the lineup and you start counting on your hand. He's not in the rotation now because, right? So if you give the core four, I hate that name. The core four, I hate it.
But it works. Everybody knows what you're talking about.
Everybody knows who I'm talking about right there. So then you got Strus. That's 5 right there. You got Niang. That's 6 right there. The guy that's coming off the bench first is Karis LeVert. That's 7 right there.
Right.
The backup point guard is
Ty Jerome's gonna
Ty
play.
Jerome.
Yeah.
That's 8. Now you get down to, all right, so we got
Could
8.
he be a situational shooter where, like in timeout situations, and you're going to put the extra shooter on the floor for the offensive possession?
Yeah. Like, that's 8. I think, so then they got the other dude. Who's the guy that is filling in for
you got to count Okoro. He's going to play. For better or worse, he's going to
play. Isaac Okoro's 9, and the guy that they start in place of Jared Allen right now.
Dean Wade and Damian Jones is 10-11.
So that's 10-11. So that would mean he will be the 12th dude off the bench.
And that's not a regular.
That's not a regular. So here's the thing. Here's what would have to happen. He would have to literally take Isaac Okoro's and Dean Wade's minutes. So that would mean he would have to shoot the ball better than Dean Wade, who shot it well in the preseason, and he would have to upgrade his defense to a point where he's not a liability on the defensive end because that's
what scares me.
So
that's why I asked, could you use him in those situations where for offensive possessions only, you throw him out there as a shooter? Because he can snipe.
Yeah, he can shoot.
He needs reps, though, and if you leave him as the situational shooter as the 12th guy,
I know, you're right.
He needs minutes is
so
the issue with his
what happens is whenever there's a blowout either way, like a 20-point, throw him out there and let's see what we have.
All I know is I'm going to them. I'm going right to Cleveland State, and I'm going to watch them games.
Oh, yeah, I'm going
Charge game's going to be fun.
He about to put up 600 points a game.
They are going to be fun. They got a bunch of dudes in that G League team that can hoop. I got some super chats I got to read through real quick. Michael McGee says, my dad passed away 3 years ago. I can say, of all the sporting events, watching with him, the Cavs winning on Father's Day in 16 will always be the most special. Vernell Jackson says Jim Schwartz was the best free agent acquisition in the NFL. So far, very much making a case. So James Bowen said, hey, guys, I missed yesterday, but wanted to ask why we're not using Marquise Moore. He's a burner. Hasn't gotten many opportunities, but we saw on Sunday 1 rush for 20 yards. He should be in the end arounds over Elijah Moore. We talked about that earlier. Vernell Jackson said, give it up for Jackson Heights' own Derek Watson. Rackasan 87 said it would hurt their cap. Jay, it takes away from rollover. James Bowen says, Watson retweeted yesterday, see you soon, 100. Also, the Arizona game is home, not in sunny AZ. And DB Dog 21 said, Josh Gordon was great, even though he was high before every game.
Josh Gordon was a developed.
Yeah, Indy and Seattle are back-to-back roads. Then we do get
Is
Arizona
Seattle the 4 o'clock game?
It will be, yeah.
Seattle will be a 4 o'clock game.
It will be. I mean, they don't play at 10 in the morning out there.
Also,
that affects me.
I know it does.
Yeah,
that makes you
someone
in
in the
long
chat
day for you.
Someone in the chat just pointed something out that I have to double check before I confirm on air. But the Cavs won by 31 points yesterday, and let me make sure it's real before I say it. Emoni Bates.
Who was the leading scorer?
Emoni Bates.
Did he lead the
leading scorer?
He was the leading scorer. He was the only player on the Cavs without a positive plus-minus in the box score.
It is.
That's the rub right there.
You got to be able to shot. You got to be able to play defense. You got to be able to rebound the basketball, especially as a small forward.
And see, I think that's the knock on him. Is you got to be at the NBA level, man. Unless your skill, your one skill, is all-star good, then you're a liability.
So you got to be Steph Curry.
See you in overtime. See you tomorrow.